they can see our faces, I think. Wow. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 11 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB and I am here as always with my co-host Legendy Vash, and this is the show where we talk about everything in the world of Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and everything in the world of entertainment and comics and pretty much whatever else we want to talk about. So Vash, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode.
It's always a good time here to talk with my co-host here, and it's an honor to talk about 4 goddamn shows that we're reviewing today, because this was a spectate to just be off on a Friday, but also just to take my time and watch this beautiful Falcon and Winter Soldier and binge these Invincibles episodes, because finding out right before we started, finding out there's only 8 episodes, like, god damn it, that's so short. I thought it was going to be like 20 episodes, like, oh, we're going to have them until the end of the summer and everything. But no, it's going to be probably until the end of April. Like, damn it. That's so
Yeah. I mean, each episode is like 48 minutes, so it's like, I guess I should just be happy that I'm getting anything.
Yeah, that is true, but like, those 3 episodes, can't wait to talk about it. But, we're going to have a packed show tonight with us two, so I'm glad it's going to be us two breaking it down with these 4 episodes and a lot of news to talk about this past week, definitely for sure too.
Yeah, we have a shit ton of news for you guys. Like, so much news, so much to talk about. We're going to be talking about Superman and Lois. We're going to be talking about The Flash. Obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and of course, Invincible. All flames today. So I am very, very excited to get going. So
I just wanted to add, for anybody that have not watched the shows as well, timestamps will be in the bottom of the description down below if you're watching it after the live stream. So definitely, if you have not seen certain shows and you want to skip to it or see our only segment for those shows, definitely jump to the description down below for the time codes or in the pinned comment down below. So definitely check that out.
Yeah. First piece of news that I wanted to talk about was the fact that Pierce Brosnan was cast as Dr. Fate in the Black Adam movie. So Vash, what do you think about this news? Like, I'm very excited.
No lie, I'm hella excited. I am. Pierce Brosnan is an interesting addition, but for him to be Dr. Fate, I'm not more curious or more hype for Black Adam. The Rock is right now is doing his training regimen. If people don't follow him on IG, he posts stories and he posts his post of his workout and his updates of and everything. And I'm like, what's the difference of each workout you do? Like, you are a already bigger person, so I'm like, what's gonna be different about this bigger version of you being a Black Adam? So I'm so curious to know. And I like, how's his suit gonna like? Cause this man don't need pads like on his suit. This man is his pads. So it's like, what can you add extra to have him look extra? Like, if you're Tyler Hoechlin or something, or if you're the actor that plays Shazam, understandable. But The Rock and with Dr. Fate. So, like, I'm curious to know what other actors and what other roles would they be introduced. And for Dr. Fate and Black Adam, it makes sense because Black Adam is like magic. Dr. Fate involves magic. So I'm very curious to know how that storyline is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we're also going to get like Atom Smasher, Hawkman, and like a couple other characters. I'm very, very excited to see what this movie is going to be like, man, because DC has been so hit or miss. Like, Shazam's a good movie, but it's not for me, right? Like, I was never a Shazam fan growing up. I never cared about Billy Batson at all. So it's like seeing the movie, it's like, okay, I mean, this is cool and everything, but I don't really care. But Black Adam, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to see how good it's going to be. I think Pierce Brosnan is going to be a really good Dr. Fate, as long as it's written well. So really, really looking forward to that. Next piece of news: Black Widow has been delayed again to July 9th, and it's going to premiere in theaters and Disney Plus at the exact same time with premiere access at $30. So, Vash, I want to ask you, are you going to go? Well, you're in New York, so you're not going to be able to go to the theater to watch it, really.
You took my joke because I was gonna bring up. I was like, hey, if I could save an extra $15 or $12 just to go to maybe wait, who knows? Because probably with this whole pandemic, I think they might even raise the prices here in New York because an average ticket cost depends on which theater and what borough. $12 to $18. So if it depends on which theater and which borough I go to, then awesome. I could go to see it in theater and probably save $10 at minimum. But do I want to pay $30 for the Disney Plus access for Black Widow? That's a big if, because I also have James, I also have Ray and other people that could just say, hey, just pass me that account for that week and I could just watch it. So I could just pass you $5 or get $8. Like, it's like we went to a theater together for that. But am I excited? Am I not shocked for Black Widow getting pushed? No, I'm not, because they probably want to. Hey, we had it in May. Let's push it a bit more, so more theaters in more other states could be better for for the vaccine and everything. So like, hey, let's push it 2 more months. We want that money because we lost a lot of money in theater for the past year and some change. So let's get that reimbursement. Let's get that insurance money that we need. And anybody is excited for Black Widow for Marvel, and I know James will be going to theater opening night. Will he be excited to see Black Widow? Most likely not. Are you, James?
Oh, I'm very excited to see Black Widow. I will be there opening night. I'm
Yeah,
probably
same.
going to see it multiple times in theaters. And then when it's free on Disney Plus, then I'll watch it on Disney Plus. But I'm very excited. Like, Taskmaster is a very cool villain. I am very excited to see Natasha go against Taskmaster. I'm very excited to see Florence Pugh as Yelena. Um, Everyone's been saying she's going to be the new Black Widow going forward. I hope they try to do something different. I don't want a Natasha replacement. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. And in Feige we trust. So I'm interested to see how this film is going to connect between like Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War, and then just like what gaps about Natasha's life we're gonna learn. So I'm actually really excited about Black Widow. So
I'm more
yeah, very, very excited for that.
just to add to what you just said. I'm more curious to know how is this story going to evolve with Black Widow in her, because this is after Civil War. So I'm curious to know how is this to be connected to the future, because Civil War I think happened in the storyline around 2016, 2017, or maybe 2015. But we're in the year 2023 within the current MCU. So like, how is that going to connect to the next 8 or 5 years later that we're in the current MCU? So like, how does that connect? Is what.
Well,
I'm
I,
more
I
curious
think
about.
it's only supposed to. I think it's only supposed to connect between Civil War and Infinity War.
But
Because once we get to Infinity War, we know what she was doing anyway, and then in Endgame she dies, so we know what happens.
But is that gonna put seeds for like Taskmaster in the future? Like, is what I'm saying. Like, is that gonna play the future Black
Gotcha.
Widow? So like, that's what more trying to lead into. Like, is that gonna play like, oh, there's another Black Widow in the future. We just haven't seen her yet, and that's a said person, like you said, or maybe Taskmaster that we might see in the future. So like, that's my hope. I see.
Yeah, I wonder if they might try to put Yelena in the Young Avengers. I doubt it. Like, I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but they've been laying the groundwork for Young Avengers for like a while now.
Yeah,
Especially when we talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier, we'll talk about that in
and
a little bit.
and also the next announcement that they also announced with Hawkeye as well.
Yeah, exactly. Kate Bishop is also a part of the Young Avengers. So they've and Wiccan and Speed from WandaVision. So they're laying the groundwork for Young Avengers right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how they can take essentially a prequel and try to lay the groundwork for future films. All right, so moving on to next piece of news. Helen Mirren has been cast for Shazam Fury of the Gods. I love Helen Mirren. I think she's such a fun actress, a very versatile actress. I thought she was a lot of fun in Hobbs and Shaw and pretty much everything that she does. So I'm very excited to see what she's going to do in Shazam Fury of the Gods. So what about you, Vash? Like, how do you feel about Helen Mirren joining the movie?
When I saw this notes for today and throughout the past week, honestly, I forgot that was the title for the Shazam film, and honestly, I fuck with it. Like, Shazam, Fear of the Gods, like that title really rings a bell, like really nice. And I'm curious to know like again with what I said with Black Adam as well. How's this gonna intertwine with the whole story itself? Like how's this gonna be with his parent and everything? Like what like how James said it. What was your score for Shazam? Do you remember?
I like a 7.
I gave it, I think, an 8 or like 8.2, like around it, because I actually did enjoy it. But I'm curious to know the rest of the other characters, because I wonder if we're going to see Shazam and the other Shazam family, because we saw them at the end and everything. So I'm really curious to know, like, with the DCU or the DC, however they're going to go this route, I'm really curious to know, like, are they adding, like, cast members and roles, but what's the direction? So it's like, not that I'm being very skeptical lately, which I have the right to be, but it's like more like, okay, you're adding these people, but what's the end game? Is this just a one-off solo movie, and then is there gonna be continuation? So it's like more in the skeptical type of, like, I'm optimistic for her role, but more like, where are we going with this?
Yeah, I'm with you there, dude, because there doesn't ever really seem to be a plan at DC, right? Like, and there doesn't, I need there to be some type of structure. I don't need these films to connect like the MCU. I don't need that. Just make really, really good movies that can eventually connect together if you want to, right? Because Shazam technically is within the DCEU, and they teased Batman and Superman at the end of the first movie. So it's like, it would be nice to see Shazam as like a part of like the future Avengers team, right? I think that would be dope. But who's going to be a part of that Avengers
Yeah,
team?
like who's
Like,
gonna be the
I don't know.
yeah, like who's gonna be the next Justice League? Like, because they show Superman then without the face, because Henry Cavill, was kicked off or he left the project to do The Witcher, which I'm glad he did. But like, Superman face is not shown, so like, what are they gonna do? So like, okay, guys, I'm excited with what you're gonna do, but like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I'll see the movie. If it's good, it's good. I'll talk about it right here on the show with you. So we'll see how that goes. This next piece of news kind of broke my heart, but the actor is a good actor, so it is what it is. Ron Livingston is going to replace Billy Crudup as Henry Allen in the Flash movie. Now, I don't know if it's due to like scheduling issues or whatever it is, but I really liked Billy Crudup as Henry Allen. I thought even with his limited screen time, he did a really good job of bringing what that character should be to life. And it's going to be really sad to see him go. But Ron Livingston is a good actor, so we'll see how it's going to go. What do you think?
I'm disappointed. Like you, James, I'm sad. Like, it's very for his limited time that he was on screen, like you mentioned perfectly, it's like he was there for literally a limited time in the beginning of the film for the Flash origin, and then at the end of the film when he got the job. So it's like, okay, we saw you played a good role for Henry, but then to get replaced, I get it. They might also try to move forward without the Zack Snyder version, but then if they do that, that means they're gonna replace Ezra Miller as well. So it's like, again, what are y'all doing? Like, is this for, again, like James said, could be a scheduling conflict, could be because he got another job, he got another role, he's doing probably some type of TV series and they're filming, he can't have him. So it could be any possibility. But without no concrete information to know why he left the project, it's like, oh, okay. But Henry Allen in a movie, would he play a big role? Like in the Flash TV show, he does play a big role in the first couple of seasons. But will he play a big role in the movie with Don? What was the story plot for this? So it's like, more again, it's like, what are you guys going to do with it?
Yeah, man. Same questions. Just like, what are you gonna do? What's the plan, right? Like, is it still going to be Flashpoint, right? Like, are we going to use the Flash movie to reset the DCEU slightly? I'm sure if they ask Gal, she'll renew her contract. I highly doubt Ray Fisher will ever be able to come back to do anything at WB. I think he's kind of burned that bridge, but for a good reason.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller should still be on contract. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to come back. And obviously, they're going to recast Batman and Superman. And I don't know. They could introduce a Green Lantern. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, there is no actual plan, it seems. And on the topic of not moving forward with the Snyderverse, that's another one of the pieces of news that I wanted to talk about. The CEO over DC essentially came out and said that they're not moving forward with the Snyderverse at all, even though Zack Snyder clearly had a great vision for what this universe was going to be. Like, Vash, what are your thoughts?
It is very exciting with what it is, but at the same time, disappointing. Like the Snyderverse, it's just me and James, and Sam even like me and him was rewatching some scenes of the Flash. Um, I cannot. There's not spoiler related topics, so I'm trying to see what to word it. When the Flash did stuff, the word he said that he has to move fast and everything, and do other stuff. Damn, doing really not spoiler about a movie is very hard. Um, so overall, very disappointing that Snyderverse is not happening. He has an interesting vision, even though he had an interesting thoughts that I did not agree with, and really interesting for those that should check out his whiteboard that he wrote about his trilogy aspect of what could be the film, aka adding the Green Lantern Corps, adding all the Kilowoggs, Hal Jordan and John Stern and everything. That would be really amazing to have seen on screen, like all the Green Lantern Corps that instead of seeing animated or in the comics, to see it actually on screen done well. That would have been really interesting because the flashback that we saw in the original movie was extended in the Snyder version, and it was awesome to see that it was very limited, but it would have been interesting to see in a more bigger scale the OA, and just to maybe see a cameo of our green friend that he did not want to super suit either. So that would have been very comedy to have seen him in that film as well as some type of cameo, because that would have been very interesting to see Ryan.
Yeah. Chief, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't think fans should make the decisions over these movies either, right? But my issue is that these executives clearly don't have a plan, right? Like, looking at the Snyder Cut, it's clear that even though the theatrical version of Justice League came out a year before Aquaman, there was never a real plan for what the universe of Aquaman was going to be. And the fact that they're not moving forward with the Snyderverse also shows me that there's no real plan, right? We're getting Flash, we're getting Shazam 2, we're also going to get Wonder Woman 3 at some point, Black Adam. But where's the plan? Like, where does this universe go? I know J.J. Abrams is working on Justice League Dark stuff. We're going to get Constantine and all of these other things. But what's the plan,
That's the
right?
thing, is that I feel like they just have some type of board and just throw some type of arrows and be like, let's see what lands on the wall and we do it. Because that's annoying. Like they just want money, which makes sense because you have money, you can make films, you can make a business. But what type of direction are you guys gonna go? And I hate to be like a regular player because we're repeating the same thing. But with DCU track record, they don't have an idea for where it is, where they want to go, and it's very disappointing because DC, the comics and the animated shorts or the animated movies have done amazing stuff. Comics, New 52, Rebirth, amazing stuff. You guys should read them because they're great stories, entertaining. But when they're translated in the movies from Warner Bros. That just wants money, they don't do it well, and that's disappointing for us fans and people that actually want to see done well, and that sucks, really does, and it pisses us off.
Yeah. Like, I as much as I want the AR cut, like, I don't think it's cost effective for WB to make an AR cut, right? Like, they're already putting money into the Suicide Squad with James Gunn, and the first
Okay,
Suicide
we'll talk
Squad
about
movie
that.
made almost 800 million. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. It made almost 800 million, and it won an Oscar for makeup and costumes. So it's like I they don't benefit from making this movie at all. So I don't see them doing that. I just want to see a clear vision. Much like the MU has a vision, I just want to see a version of that in DC. That's all.
Same. I just and like I just want somebody to be a good leader and to direct it. Like, hey, okay, so this is what you should do. You guys want to do some type of solo films, but not be connected. Alright, let's do this. But let's have a plan. If we're gonna announce this show, announce this movie, let's have an idea of why we're gonna do them. Not just make them, not just announce them, not just make money, but let's have a reason to do them and make money and good story and good direction for it. We cannot just make films and just have no idea where the hell we're going. Let's not look like clowns compared to Marvel, who actually has been doing this for now 12 years, 13 years, and they're actually succeeding. Yes, they had a couple misses, Thor 2 and a couple other films, or for James, Iron Man 3 as well, but they have succeeded more a better ratio than DCEU. So that's very disappointing for them.
Yeah. And like Nova's saying in the chat, like I would love to see Flashpoint be the reset of this universe, right? Like I want Flashpoint to be the thing that resets everything, much like it did in the New 52 for the New 52. Just reset everything, and then you can just make whatever films you want going forward if you really want to separate yourself from the Snyderverse. I'm not happy about it, but if you do it in the right way, I'll go along with it. Like DC Comics is my favorite. Like I love DC over everything. So it's like just give me good stories and I'll be good. I'm looking forward to the Batman. Joker was awesome. Just keep making good movies. But like you said, Vash, I don't want just random announcements of how many movies you're going to make. Give me a plan. Why are you making these movies? You know what I mean? Like there should be some type of plan. But moving on, I want to talk about the Suicide Squad trailer. So the Red Band trailer came out this morning. James Gunn dropped it on Twitter, and man, it looks exactly like the amount of fun that I thought it was going to be because James Gunn's directing it, and I can't wait, bro. Like, what were your thoughts?
I love it. John Cena from the trailer itself acted his ass off, and I'm happy about that. John Cena, he's not a perfect actor, but he's been improving over the years. He's like he has said it on some type of interviews and on social media. He has taken additional classes. He has improved his acting chops, and I give him props for that. He's been getting better over the years. AK like The Rock, he has taken a playbook from The Rock. He has continued to improve, get better roles, and they're both now sharing the same universe. Was that plan? I don't know, but John Cena looks like he has a long-term goal because he has his own HBO series coming out. I think next year as well, right, James? So that's a big thing for John Cena.
I'm pretty sure it's next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it's a great thing. And Harley Quinn continues to be good in different director. Because with David Ayer, she was not shot very well, but she did better in Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn. And then with this film, in that trailer itself, really great. And my favorite line throughout the film was when John Cena comparing the shootout with a pile of dicks. That was just something I did not expect it. And it was just funny because it just dragged on, but it was good dragging, like good comedy dragging it on. So I love that. It was very entertaining. I didn't expect it to be that funny where I could actually laugh watching it from a screen from my phone. So it was very entertaining for it.
Yeah, man. Like, I love that Idris is the leader of the Suicide Squad this time around. Like, I love that Peter Capaldi, who plays one of the doctors on Doctor Who, is the Thinker. I think that's dope. Polka Dot Man, like, James Gunn is such a deep cuts comic book fan, and I can't wait to see everything that he does. Starro is the villain of this fucking movie. Like, who would have thought that Starro would have been the villain of this movie? It's awesome. Like, I can't wait, dude. Like, this trailer was so much fun. King Shark eating that guy and then ripping that other guy in half. I'm like, this is exactly how brutal, violent, and just like weird
should be in Tax Force X. That's how it should have been, and it was freaking awesome. And Nova, that made me laugh. That's why I was laughing while James was talking. My apologies, but oh my god, that just threw me off because it was funny. But
I just read it.
You see, James. So I apologize for me laughing. But that's funny though. Wow.
Yeah, but to piggyback off what you said, like, I was not a fan of Harley Quinn in the first Suicide Squad movie. She was way too overly sexualized. There was no reason why Harley Quinn literally needed to be on a pole. Margot Robbie's gorgeous. Harley Quinn is gorgeous. There was no need to do all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they fixed that in Birds of Prey. And I want to see that going forward in The Suicide Squad. Very, very excited for James Gunn's interpretation of that movie.
One last thing. I love how they just did the opening scene. Like, they had a whole plan to save her. Like, they had a great plan. And they said, yeah, with a great plan. And then she says, well, if you want, I could go back in and you guys could save me. And they said, let's just get back down from the ropes and everything. I was like, this is great. James Gunn knows what he's doing. Like, he knows AK Guardian of the Galaxy is just putting it in a DC style with more crazy people. That's it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Even though Guardians 2 is a miss for me, but the first Guardians is such a good movie. And you can tell he's bringing that weird, wacky humor to the Suicide Squad, and I can't wait. That's coming out in August, right? like August 2nd or August 9th, something like that.
As much as
I
will
can't wait,
love
man.
to,
That's gonna be sick.
as much as I would love to agree with that line, I just don't want to, like, who knows if they move it forward, is what I'm saying. Like, they say it's August 9th and everything, but would they move it forward again? I don't know. So when we get to, like, once we get to July, the last week of July, they're like, oh, it's actually coming out next week. All right, cool, great. Now I can actually be excited for it because that's what I'm more thrilled about. So I just can't wait to actually see it.
Chief is like, I hope they sexualize King Shark.
King Shark was funny. I didn't expect it, and King Shark was interesting. I can't wait to see the whole team dynamic and Captain Boomerang. Jack Courtney, I'm really curious to know what else he would do. What else he would do in this role.
Yeah, I thought he was really funny in the first one. Like, it's one of the few roles that I think he's actually good in. If you guys haven't seen the TV show Spartacus, the HBO show, he's amazing on Spartacus. But yeah, in a lot of his movies, he's very, very hit or miss. If you like sword and sandal type stories, like Spartacus is very good, but it's also very fucked up. Like, it's really, really fucked up. Like, the story is really messed up, but it's a really, really good show. But other piece of news that I wanted to talk about was Kate Kane was recast on Batwoman season 2, and they're also going to be introducing Peter Overbridge as Black Mask on Batwoman season 2. So, Vash, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm behind on Batwoman. Last episode was episode 3 and 4, and I think they're on episode 9. I could be incorrect or close by. When me and James first started the show Villains back in January of episode 1, we said we reviewed Batwoman, and we were like, what's wrong with Ruby Rose? Is she gonna come back? Because they kind of put her on the side. Spoilers for season 2 episode 1. They just killed her off, but then they are technically now bring her back some more. So now I'm curious to know like how they're gonna have 2 Batwomans, or what's the reason of Kate Kane coming back. So now it makes me want to catch up to the show. Like, okay, let me just catch up from episode 4 to current to see how they introduce this. Oh, Kate's back. What's the reason? And is it because to help her sister or to help the other Batwoman? So I'm really curious about this. Like, where's it gonna go with?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the show since episode 2. I kind of want like a couple more episodes to build up before I jump back in again. But I'm wondering if they're recasting Kate Kane to give Kate an official goodbye, right? Like, I think she's gonna come back to officially hand the cape and cowl officially over to Ryan. Cause I mean, what else is the point, right? Cause I don't think they're gonna have 2 Batwomen. Like, I don't think that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I think they just want to recast her to give an official goodbye.
That is true, since they couldn't really have 2 Flashes, aka Barry and Wally in his own TV show. So I guess you're right about that. But what's the point to just officially give her the crown? Like, here, you're now officially Batwoman. But okay, you could have just had it over a cell phone and just tell Ruby like, hey, can you record this? We'll pay you $10,000 or whatever to do this for us. And that's a call a day. But to just recast and have somebody else come on screen and do it, so I'm like, what's the reason? Like, what is it for? So I'm really curious to know, like it makes me want to catch up, which I will actually catch up sometime within the following couple weeks. James will probably catch up by the July or August.
You know me, dude. Like, I get really invested into stuff, and then it's like, shit, like I have to wait until more episodes come out. So I would prefer if I just let shit build up a little bit, and then I'll catch back up so I can binge it. But like I said, man, like, that's just what I think. I think it's just to bring her back to give a formal goodbye, because we don't know what happened to Kate, and it would be nice for Kate to have some closure. She rides off into the sunset with one of her girlfriends, and then we just don't see her again. You know what I mean? And that's perfectly fine, because I need some finality. I need some type of closure with the Kate Kane character, because it does feel like this empty hole where it's just like, oh, Ryan found the suit, and now she's Batwoman. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm hoping that's the case.
We just don't know where the story's gonna go currently, because me and James are not cut up. So for those that are watching Batwoman and knows probably better, more than us, then you guys could actually inform us. But for me, like, where's the story right now for them to actually need Kate Kane? Is there a reason in the plot for them to need Kate? Is it to help the sister, get back into her senses? Is it because the father's in trouble? Like, we don't really know why the Nikkei came back. So, or maybe Ryan needs help, or somebody needs to run Wayne Enterprise. So, who knows what it could be.
Yeah, man, I'm curious. We'll catch up and we'll get there. Last piece of news that I wanted to talk about was there is going to be a Ghost of Tsushima movie from John Wick director Chad Stahelski. Bro, this is going to be absolutely sick. Chad Stahelski knows how to shoot action. So being able to see samurais on screen with the amazing fight sequences that they have mastered in John Wick, I could not be more excited. This could easily turn into a franchise of movies. So I'm extremely excited about this. I'm extremely excited to see that Chad Stahelski is going to be directing it. What are your thoughts on it, Vash?
I'm hella fucking shocked. That's how I am. I am shocked as hell. This must be the most fastest adaptation to a TV or movie from a video game that was just launched last year. For this to be this fast, like, yeah, it's been less than a year, but still, like, it took Mortal Kombat a couple of years and to actually get a reboot, well, like 30 years, and to actually get a good adaptation, and from the director, from John Wick and everything, and like, we have evolved with good storytelling with samurais and everything, and with swords and everything. They usually do that right, and some series with Sword and Sandal, like James mentioned, are done beautifully. To actually see Ghost of Tsushima done well, now it actually makes me want to play the game, because for it to be this good and hear it that's this good.
You haven't played the game?
I haven't played the game yet. I have not.
Bro, the game is amazing. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Like, it might be my favorite game of all time.
About Spider-Man?
Like, it's amazing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Really?
yeah. Way better than Spider-Man in my opinion. Oh yeah.
Wow. And me, Ryan Spider-Man is my all-time favorite because, one, I'm a big fan of, Spider-Man, from the comic books, but also it's because, like, the whole game mechanics is amazing, like, with the whole spiders and everything is awesome. But to actually see Ghost of Tsushima announcement, hey, big props to the studio, big props to the company that made the game, because they should pat themselves on the back. This is a huge accomplishment for them. So really, this is something that they're going to be set for a while, and hopefully the writers, the storyboards that actually wrote Ghost of Tsushima's story and everything, hopefully they're on the team to guide them how to shorten it into a 2-hour film and everything. I wish it was a TV series instead, because that would actually been better for storytelling purposes. But hopefully,
yes, bro.
Because when you do you know how long the game yet, or have you not finished it yet?
I beat it. I'm not sure how many hours it is. I never pay attention to that stuff.
Okay, so like for example, if it's like a 14-hour game and to cut it down to 2 hour, like, damn, that's kind of hard as hell. But to cut it down from a 14-hour game maybe to an 8-episode type of series, that'd be beautiful. But also, I've seen that game clips, how beautiful cinematography that game is, and they better be filming in Japan, China, in Asia. They better be getting the sakura flowers and everything, the way the whole roses falls and everything. Like, I better see beautiful plants flying around and everything like that, because I've seen that type of cinematography clips like the first month since everyone and their moms was playing that game. I want to see that on film too. I want to see some beautiful cinematography as well on film for that show. Or sorry, for that movie. I wish it was a show, but for that movie.
Yeah, Vash, I'm completely on your side with this. I would love for this to be a series instead of a movie. Like, this movie, the game came out in July 2020. It sold over 6.5 million copies. Sucker Punch made the game, and it is absolutely fucking incredible, bro. I wish they could shoot on the actual island of Tsushima. I don't know, like, what the laws are. I highly doubt they're even allowed to, but I wish they could actually shoot on location on the island. But wherever they shoot, I'm sure they'll be able to make it look like the island itself. And man, like, again, this might be my favorite game ever. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
It's possible to get shoot, but for them to like shooting is for the movie's going to take months. Like, and for them to have a permit or license for them to shoot on the island for 2-3 months, that's gonna be hard. Like most license and permit on islands is like a week, a day, but to actually film on the island of Tsushima for a month or like more than that, that's gonna be hard. So good luck to them for them to try to make it as realistic as possible. And hey, if they have the budget, then go to the island, pay them whatever they need to. From experience, production got money. It just depends how much they want to spend.
Yeah. So Nova wants to know like what like DC CW shows we recommend him getting into. So I recommend Superman and Lois. We're actually going to talk about that right now. I recommend Superman and Lois. The first 5 episodes have actually been pretty interesting, and I'll get into my reasons why. The Flash is good, right? Seasons 4 and 5 are not good in my opinion. 6 is all right, but 7 is actually, 7 is actually like true to form. Like Flash is actually back, and I'm loving it right now. Legends of Tomorrow has been very consistent in my eyes. Like it's been the most fun for me to watch. The only bad seasons of Arrow, in my opinion, are 3 and 4. Everything else is just flames. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 flames. So you can choose which ones you want to get into. Vash, what are your recommendations?
I agree with everything that James said. To talk about the ones that James did not mention, Supergirl, if you're a fan of the comics or Supergirl itself, go watch Just the League when those episodes she's in. Go read the comics of Supergirl. As much as I love Melissa Benoist, she's beautiful. She's an amazing gal. I've seen her at cons. I've never met her, but I've seen her from afar. Beautiful woman, very kind. She's such a sweet soul and everything. But her show just is like some episodes hit and miss. Season wise, like a 6, 7 at most. But it's like episodes you could just watch. Some episodes it's cringy, the writing and everything. But like Lightning, first season, phenomenal, solid. If you want to watch if you just want to watch one season and be entertained, then watch Black Lightning. But if you want to watch the rest, cannot tell you because I have not seen the rest. So that's my honest opinion for Black Lightning. What other show that's CW that we didn't mention? Is that it?
Stargirl, but I haven't really seen much of,
I saw the first 2 episodes of Stargirl, but that was originally on HBO Max, but then they're bringing the CW, so I guess it's count as the same CW verse and everything, or technically multiverse. But Stargirl, saw the first 2 episodes, entertaining, but very haven't watched it fully, so can I give you my honest opinion? Saw Titans, the first 7 out of the 8 episodes, entertaining. Have not seen Doom Patrol. Me and James been wanting to watch Doom Patrol. Like that's on our list. We just really do want to watch it. That's on our list. But can I give any more thoughts about that? And with the rest that James said, I can't really add much because I totally agree with what he said. Other than the Flash season 6 still whack as well. To me, season 3, 4. I mean, season 3, 4. I mean, 4, 5, 6 are whack.
Yeah, I mean, just go on Wikipedia and look up what happens in season 4, man. Like it's not worth watching in any way whatsoever. Nova, thank you. I keep hearing I need to watch Doom Patrol, and I haven't seen a single fucking episode. But I will watch it, I promise. I will definitely get into Doom Patrol for sure.
We do plan to, if anything, in the month after Captain Falcon the Winter Soldier. Yes. We have a non-comic book months, aka May and June. We could actually, guys, in the month of April, if anything, James could put out a poll in that month. Again, me and James have not spoken about this, so I'm technically telling him now this idea. So if you guys want us to review a show that we haven't spoken about, like aka Titans or Doom Patrol, in the month of May and June, then me and James could do that, like watch 2 episodes a week and then review it for a segment, so you guys can let us know what you guys want us to talk about, or a comic book movie that me and him could bring up, that Marvel movie, DC film, anything like that. So that's something that we could bring and review every week to week, since there's not going to be anything new within May and June until we get Loki that end of June or mid June, so that could lead up to it. Or maybe eventually we could talk about Loki or some comic books as well. So let us know what you guys think about that in the chat, in the comments as well after the stream.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I actually think that's a great idea. We could definitely talk about Doom Patrol
I'm
and
here with
Titans as
ideas.
soon as Falcon and Winter Soldier ends, because Invincible is only 8 episodes. So there's only 5 more weeks of that.
Oh
So
my god,
once
remind me.
April's done, pretty much not gonna have that anymore. But we'll, of course, we'll still have Superman and Lois. We'll still have Flash at that point. So we'll definitely incorporate Doom Patrol and Titans for sure, because I need a reason to get into those shows. All right, so we've talked about all of the news. There was a lot of great news that happened. So let's get into the first main topic. And we got 4 of them tonight. It's a stacked show, like I told you guys. So let's get into full spoilers. So if you haven't seen Superman and Lois, we are going to be talking full spoilers for episodes 4 and 5 right now. Oh, Steve just brought up Harley Quinn. I would actually love to talk about the Harley Quinn TV series. That show is fire, bro.
I hear great stuff about it. I have not watched it.
Fire.
I watched like one episode, but I was doing some great edibles. That's what I would say. So I do not remember watching it. I just know I had a good time. I was laughing a lot. I heard it's great written as well, great comedy. I hear Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy sleep together as well. I was like, wait, what? So I hear that show is good. So that's another show that me and James could put on the poll. So if you guys want us to do that, definitely let us know what you guys think about the idea. But let's get to Superman Lois. This James, I want to hear you first, because usually I go first, but I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the past 2 episodes, 4 and 5?
Yeah, man, like this show is getting better and better and better and better. One thing that this show does really, really well for me that I care about the most, it's the relationship between Superman and Lois, and actually the entire family at this point, because the kids are finally starting to grow on me, right? So it's like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but in episode 4, Clark actually has a moment where he's trying to parent Jonathan and Jordan the same way that he was raised, right? And it doesn't work in a lot of ways the same way it didn't work for Martha when he was a teenager. So I love seeing that parallel. I love seeing how strong Clark and Lois are as a couple. They're really, really strong. And Lois, the actress that plays Lois, I'm going to sing her praises in every single episode. She is probably like one of my favorite Lois Lanes ever. She is so confident. She is so powerful, so amazing. She exudes such power in every word that she says, every look, every body movement. And I love her, bro. So these episodes have just been pushing me more towards loving the show, and it's slowly becoming like my favorite thing like on the CW right now. I love this version of Lex Luthor. We've learned so much more about him, and I love like the parallels between the brothers, right? Like Jordan has always been the outcast, the one that didn't have a bunch of friends, wasn't popular, didn't have a girlfriend. And it was the opposite for Jonathan. Now those roles are switched. Like Jordan is now the popular kid. He now has a girlfriend and everything. So it's like,
Well,
I actually...
I was saying like not girlfriend because they became friends at the end. So like, eh.
Well, yeah, she's going to be his girlfriend eventually.
Yeah,
I think.
eventually, right? Eventually.
Eventually.
They say, hey, can we be friends because that's what I need. And then like watch like 3 episodes later. You know what? Mwah, I like you. Like, that's what it's gonna be.
I love that they brought Kilgrave into the show. So watching that quick little interaction between Clark and Kilgrave was really, really cool. I can't remember the actor's name, but I think he's so good and so underrated. He's one of those amazing, like, underrated character actors, and I'll look it up here in a bit when I toss it to Vash. But I thought that was really cool. Tag starting to get more powers. We get a Cadmus Easter egg in episode 4. I thought that was really, really dope. I don't know.
Huh?
So when they said that they took Tag to a government program
Oh, it's because
where
they
they
didn't
help
say
people
it,
with abilities,
but they gave the reference for it without saying it because they're gonna probably say it later on. Ah, damn. Poor
yeah.
me,
So
poor me,
I thought that was dope, man. Sam is starting to not trust Superman as much because his priorities have changed, and he started up a completely new military program of a secondary protocol against Superman, if you will. Like, the show's getting really, really good, man. Morgan Edge, we're starting to learn more about him. He's not just the generic, like, rich douchebag. There's actually a lot more to his character and why he wants to take over the mines in Smallville and all of that stuff, man. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on episode 5, and then we can talk about episode 4. I mean, and then we can talk about episode 5 in a second.
Um, I don't remember episode 4 and 5, what happened. I'm gonna just say as a mess, so I do apologize for that, James. I did not. I don't know if they're gonna talk about it separately, but
Oh, you good, bro?
All right. So the tag thing, I'm really curious to know how they're gonna bring, like, how is it? Sorry, how are they gonna explain how Jordan gave Tag its powers? I wonder how they're gonna explain it, because the explosion happened. So is that the heat ray? Is that the Kryptonian side of him that gave it with a human? Like, is that the explosion because the heat vision? I'm curious to know how they're gonna explain it. And
So, real quick. So, what happened was there was like some like meteor shower. Like at the beginning of episode 4, there's a like a what looks like a meteor shower that happened 6 years ago, right? And then whatever landed on the planet is what's changing people's DNA. And I think Jordan's heat vision allowed it to, like, because I'm sure it doesn't activate until it reaches like a certain like level of heat or radiation. So Jordan's heat vision just activated whatever that was, and that's what Morgan Edge is looking for.
also, those are the stones. Also, the Morgan Edge story is gonna connect to Jordan's story. See, they're not put two and two together for that. But all right, so not that James brought up, so that's redacted then for what I just commented about. But I have to give praise as well to what James said earlier in the beginning. The actress that plays Lois Lane is amazing. She does a fantastic job. Like, she's doing really good. Like, I believe her. Like, I'm like, go chase that story. Go follow that. I'm like, I support you, girl. Even though I'm not in the show or play the background PA or anything, but I support you. So, like, she's doing a great job. The chemistry between her and Tyler Hoechlin is amazing. Like, you believe that they're not just acting as a couple. Like, I feel like I'm seeing a couple of Clark Kent and Lois Lane and Superman, like them, a couple. So I really believe that very beautifully strong. And like, Clark is knowing how to become a father. Like, he knows that he's not the perfect dad. Like, he knows that it's human. Like, all dads, all parents know that nobody is perfect as a parent. That you live and learn, you make mistakes, and you do better. And I love the transition. The young actor for Clark Kent, I'm like, you're a really skinny dude. Like, Clark Kent is usually still big. Like, what age were you in that? So I was a bit questioning that scene and everything. But like, hey, he was probably just a random actor. They just wanted to have him close look at Tyler Hoechlin, but he was not that built. But that's out of the wheel. But I love that transition of Clark always looking out the window, always imagining himself like, what did his mom do? What did his dad do? What could he do different? And what he could do better, because he regretted that he left his mom. He regretted that he did not come back and visit her more often. He regret, even though he is super speed and could come within seconds, but he felt like he needed to expand his work, which is understandable. You're Superman, you have that weight on your shoulder. But not that you're Superman, Clark, a husband and a father. You need to understand that from both sides of the shoe now. Now he's on the other side of the fence. So I love that transition and that perspective as Clark, because that's one of my favorite type of storyline from him in the comics, when he's the father of Jonathan Kent in the story, in the comics, because you see that he's human as a father, but you also see that he knows that he is not the best one, but he tries. So I love how they portray that within the show. Lois Lane's storyline, James, I'm curious to know, how do you feel about Lois Lane's storyline with the Morgan Edge and stuff? Because I see Morgan Edge making either Lana Lane or either making the husband become one of the super soldiers type of things.
So I didn't even consider that. So that's actually a really good idea.
Hell yeah.
That would be so interesting
obvious.
if that happens.
It is. I thought it was Lana Lane at first, because he said that I know how to. I think he said in episode 4, he like, I know how to choose the right people. I know how to convince them and everything. So I'm like, and when he was trying to swindle Lana, and when she felt disrespected, and when the husband did not notice, like, my dude, you're stupid. Like, he's literally flirting in front of you to your wife. Can you notice, please? But he didn't. But then in episode 5, the way when Clark saved the house and everything, when he was questioning the ice and how it froze and everything, and when this dude respects Morgan Edge like he's God. So it's like, I think he's either gonna convince Lana or she's gonna say no, and then he's gonna go to the husband and then he's gonna say yes because he's a drunken man. Which, hey, I don't know if the fans here or the people that's watching, I am Colombian, and seeing a Spanish man singing a song in Spanish, and it was beautiful, well done, and that connected to me. No lie, even though you're a drunken father and you're not a great father to your daughter, but that connected to me a lot because my mom used to sing to me a lot when I was younger, and for him to sing to his daughter, and she was getting emotional, but she didn't want to accept it because the father was just doing that because he felt guilty of who he is today and he doesn't feel like he could change that. But that's what he wanted to remember the past because he wanted to be in the past. And that was just beautiful. Like that singing, not like James, it got me like it got me teary. Maybe because I'm Spanish and he sang. How did you feel about that?
I mean, it got to me simply because he's just a guy trying to do the best with what he has, right? Like
Yes.
he he came off like a douchebag in the first episode, but he's just a complicated guy. Like he is a brave firefighter. Like firefighters put their lives on the line every single day they walk out the door. Like he's a respectable guy, and he only likes Morgan Edge, and he only feeds into Morgan Edge's ego because he has money. He doesn't want to see the town that he grew up in just like go to the wayside, right? Like he doesn't want to see everything that his parents and their parents built go to nothing, right? So he's a complex character, and I actually like to see that. I really like that moment as well, and I love that Lana, him, and I can't remember the daughter's name right now, but I love that they all have their own subplots going on. They actually have things going on in their own lives that I'm actually interested in.
It,
But on the topic of Lois Lane, I really like where her arc is going, right?
yes.
Like, you would think that Superman would go after Morgan Edge, but no, this is Lois Lane tracking down the story, and it doesn't matter who it is, even if it's this rich douchebag who can send their lawyers and all of this different bullshit after her. She doesn't care. She's Lois Lane. There's a story that needs to be told. People are getting hurt, and she is doing whatever she can to save people, and I love it. I love the effect that she's having on the leader of the head of the Smallville Gazette. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love what she's doing to her. She has her own thing going on. She went to go find, what's his name? Derek something. I had it in my notes somewhere.
I just know it was Derek the first name. Because the last name is not going to matter because he's dead now. But
Derek Powell. But yeah, him
makes
getting his
sense.
powers. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about that. So my guess, my theory, for the people that kept saying resurrected, and Clark, I'm sorry, but you are a reporter. How can you not figure out he said resurrected, and he had a whole different personality? He was probably getting resurrected from either the planet Krypton, like those people like Zod and everything, like those people from Krypton are getting resurrected in within their mind or the soul. So Clark, and I was very disappointed, like how you did not picture what he said or understood what he said. But story purposes, there's a show that's 16 episodes, so they have to stretch him not being that smart. But so it's either people from Krypton or people from this planet that died, so their souls lost, so maybe being resurrected, but they have superpowers. So I'm like, that don't make sense. So the gems sounds like Krypton, the yellow colors and everything. So I'm like, they have to be from planet Krypton because that will connect to having the heat vision and everything. James, how do you think about that theory, or do you have something else?
Yeah. So it's an interesting theory. My only thing is, like, when you look at, I think it's episode 5, they discover the X kryptonite, and they're using radiation to activate the X kryptonite with whatever those like pod things are to give normal people superpowers. So that's what I think they're doing. I think they're
But
taking regular humans and taking the X kryptonite in an attempt to create people like Superman.
But when Derek came out from the pod, from the total type of radiation pod, he didn't sound like he was Derek. He sounded like he was somebody else. Because when he spoke to Clark, he said Kal-El. A lot of people don't know that's his name other than people from Krypton. So, like, it sounded like somebody from Krypton. And if you know the name of S, most people just know him as Superman. People that know
Right.
him as cows, taking the bad guys. And for this, like, that's what I felt like. Like, you
My
must
only
be.
question about that is, like, why would they need X kryptonite? Why would they need this machine to get powers, and then their powers are super unstable? Like, Superman isn't anything special, right? Like, he's just a Kryptonian whose cells are powered by our yellow sun.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they were Kryptonians, like why do they need all of these different things to even access like a small version of their power? So that would be my only question.
And
But
then
from what I saw, from my interpretation, I think they're just trying to make a super team of just normal human beings and giving them Kryptonian powers, much like Tag, right? Like Tag's abilities, I mean, that's essentially just him having Superman-like powers, and he was just a regular kid. So that's how I saw it. Maybe I need to like rewatch the episodes again and like do a little bit more research. But either way would be interesting. Like I would love to see Kryptonians that we all thought were dead to come back on to the show, and Kal-El has to fight them. I think that would be really interesting too.
it's like John said, a Phantom Zone machine, and we have seen Phantom Zone, type of storylines within Smallville, within other type of shows and comics. So maybe Phantom Zone machine, and Phantom
Potentially,
Zone,
yeah.
and Phantom Zone is always used within the Superman storyline. So that could also be a plot story within this. So that could be possible.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm loving Superman and Lois the more and more these episodes go on. I love that we also found out that Captain Luthor in his universe dated Lois.
Thank you. That's
I wasn't
interesting.
surprised by that because I mean we've seen different like
Versions,
alternate
yeah.
reality versions in the comics where they are a couple. So the way that he reacted to her when he met her wherever he was trying to talk to her about the story,
I think it was in a diner.
I was like, they were a couple, weren't they? And Superman killed her in his universe. I was like, that's exactly what happened. That's so interesting. So I'm very excited to see where this Captain Luthor is going to go because he seems like a very interesting and compelling version of Luthor.
But I'm kind of sad because they've been downgrading him since the first episode. Like he went from having a ship to a whole some type of Halo suit, and then to having no ship
In
to
a
having a
RV.
Halo suit to the RV, and then he got mad because his alternative wife of Lois dating somebody else, but he broke his AI. So I'm like, does he still got his AI, or did he really get downgraded to a person in RV now? So I'm like, yeah, really downgraded him within 5 episodes, and that wasn't even Superman doing the rest. It was him. So I'm like, what? Yeah, really downgraded him.
I think we'll get more of him later because this is a Superman and Lois show. Like we technically have to spend most of the time with like the family, and I love Lana Lang and how she plays into like being Clark's friend and also being Lois's friend, trying to console her, like letting her know like things aren't that bad. Like she's a genuinely like great person, and I love that. This show has so much potential, man, and I'm very, very excited to see where it goes. But Vash, did you have any final thoughts on Superman and Lois 4 and 5 before we move on to The Flash?
I'm happy. I am really enjoying the series overall. It's something that the kids are growing on me that slight scenes they could have improved with their acting, the posture, with their smile, but maybe that's the reason for that role, for that scene is to be more awkward and everything. Overall, I'm entertained by it. I feel bad of how much effort, how much better the show's film and the choreography and everything, because it shows that like I technically could have done it with Supergirl, Legends, and any other shows, but when it comes to Superman, you're gonna respect the name, like, which is understandable. But that's kind of sad that when it comes to a Superman show, oh, you know what, we should respect the show. Let's actually do our best. But when it comes to other shows, yeah, I just could care less. Like that shows where your money goes. I guess
So
money talks.
I have a question for you. Did you notice that the suit's technically a little bit different in these last 2 episodes?
Yes, I was gonna question that, because I was gonna question, was it me or was the suit more loose in some scenes?
It looked not a lot smaller, but it definitely looks smaller than the suit from the first 3 episodes. And I'm so happy because it actually looks like he can
Like it's
fit
him.
into that suit. It actually looks like it's him instead of like the extra muscle pads. And I'm really excited. The problem that I still have is that when you look at those scenes from Luthor's universe, he still is skinny like how he looked on Supergirl. So it's really confusing. Like really confusing.
Is the incoherent aspect with the suits and everything. So, but again, like they've been planning this out well, but maybe with the Superman aspect of his suits is where they're having trouble. Maybe Tyler Hoechlin is losing weight, then gaining weight. So who knows what it could be of why he looks like that on screen? I don't know, but I'm excited. I look forward to every Wednesday because I watch it on the CW app. So yes, guys, I'm saying Wednesday because that's where I watch it. I don't watch it on Tuesday when it actually airs. But I'm very happy with how it comes out and it's actually a very entertaining series. So for those that have now Superman and Lois, and if you guys been watching a spoiler review segment here, definitely please go check it out. It's an actually entertaining show of Superman itself. And yes, the kid's a bit rough in the beginning, but the overall family does grow on you and it does get better. So, and also Morgan Edge, just because you gave him a chair with his mom name does not win people over, my guy.
Yeah, they seem to think it's this great sign of good faith, and it's like,
Hell
yeah,
nah.
it's bullshit.
Hell nah.
But
James, your
let's
last
get
thoughts.
in.
Your last thoughts, or you all good?
I'm all good. Like,
All right.
I can't recommend the show anymore. Like, I really think it's a good show, man. Like, I didn't think I would end up liking it. I honestly didn't think I would give a shit about Superman and his family because I'm not the biggest Superman fan in the comics. Like, he's not a character that interests me at all. But watching this show, I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's actually giving me like a greater appreciation for just Superman as a person.
Same.
Rather than a superhero. So I really, really appreciate that. So it's time to talk about The Flash Season 7, Episode 3, and Episode 4. So Season 7, Episode 3 was originally supposed to be the season finale of Season 6 of The Flash. So Vash, what did you think of season 7, Episode 3, which was supposed to be the finale of 6?
Finally. Thank God, we out of here. I'm sorry. I just, I get the message, when comics do it, when manga does it, or when anime or a good TV series does human tropes, because what happened in that Flash episode is human trope. It's not a hero trope, a CW trope. It's a hero trope. When you win people over for the power of love, having goodwill, having a good heart, with your good brain, whatever, that's a human trope that has been done since ancient times in the Bible in many different ways. But when CW does it, I feel like it's so fucking in the goddamn cringy as hell. I don't know why. It's like Barry in the comics. He knows he always has a good heart, but he doesn't need to be reminded from every scene in Star Labs in that goddamn room by his wife. Like, hey, how you doing? I know we've been doing this for the past, I think 6 seasons, and I'm here to tell you again, Barry, just run. You have a good heart. You got this. Let's talk. And I know it's funny that I'm kind of doing this the way it was shot, but I love how James is laughing because he knows I'm right. But it's just I love the Flash, and it's one of my freaking goddamn favorite comic book character from the comics, and just to see time and time and again, Barry learned the same fucking goddamn lesson. It's like, why are we doing this again?
I'm okay with it. It bugs me sometimes, but I'm okay with it. It's like, because he's still just a human being. Like, he may be very close to having, the powers of a god, but he's still a human being that tends, and we tend to make the same mistakes over and over again at times. You know what I mean? So, I get it, but sometimes it bugs me. Sometimes.
But the thing is, when it's done in the comics, it's done well. When it's done animated, it's done well. But when it's done the TV show for 6 seasons and the same time and again lesson, yes, I get it. But when it's 23 episodes, 22 episodes for some series, it's like he's learning at almost 3 episodes. So hopefully within the season, the way it was executed, where Barry kind of when Barry gave the soft punch to Mirror Master, or I don't know her evil name.
Mirror Monarch.
I'm gonna just call her Mirror Master. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry, James. I'm not gonna call her Mirror Monarch because that name was also bugging me. I'm like, Mirror Monarch, really? I'm like Mirror Master. I'm gonna just go with that. So, but I like how it was. Iris West. She's the one that delivered the finishing blow. Even though I questioned that they both did the trio of hand and closing the gates of all the mirror duplicates and all the mirror were in there. I'm like, okay, she got powers for the last 20 minutes on Earth, and after the next episode, she got no more powers. I'm like, cool. So that's episode 4. It was a lot of fun of seeing the season finale of season 6, which I'm happy that's over with. Season 5,
Yeah.
I mean, episode 5 or episode 4, I enjoy a lot more. I enjoyed that episode, which I was very sad at that, but I have so many questions. Love that episode a lot more. But James, how was your thoughts on episode on the season finale of episode 6?
Yeah, I'm with Rob. Like, I'm so glad that everything with Mirror Monarch is over. It's not that the character is terrible. It's just
the way it's
boring.
written.
It's just boring, and I just don't care, right? Like, power of friendship, that solves everything.
Whippy!
But I do like that Barry doesn't have to punch or defeat everyone with his powers, right? Like, talk no jutsu is definitely a superpower of a superhero. You have to be able, your first choice should be talking to this person because they're just a human being that's going through something and they happen to have meta powers. So the fact that he chooses to talk them down first before just beating them up is something that I think is really, really important. I love that they gave us some closure on Ralph and Sue's storyline. They're going to be traveling the globe, getting rid of other organizations, other shadow organizations. So we'll never see Ralph again. That was a nice cleanup of the character, but it was so funny.
James, I felt bad for the actress, though. That's what I felt bad more. Ralph, alright, cool. I get it. I get it. CW wants to do this. I get it. I felt bad for the actress because they said, since you're technically in a relationship with Ralph, you cannot be on the show really no more because you're technically are a duo. So, hey, sorry, but this is your role. This is your last day on the scene or last day on the show. So here, we're running you off. I'm like, she must have been so sad, but she must understand, job is job, go to the next job. But like, damn.
I'm sure she'll come back in some capacity, but I mean, I never thought of Sue being like a series regular or anything. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. I didn't like the OG Harrison Wells reveal. Like we talked about in the last episode of Villains, I was looking forward to, and what I think would have been a better angle was to have Thawne find a way to come back into Harrison Wells' body. Because again, like I said on the previous show, I think it would be the biggest fuck you to Team Flash if the last person to hold the face of Harrison Wells was Eobard Thawne. I feel like it was a missed opportunity, and what we got was timeless Wells. It's like, yes, is it cool? Does it give closure to Tom Cavanaugh and his character? Sure. OG Wells comes back. He can literally transport himself throughout his entire 94-year time stream at any moment that he wants. He can relive as many moments as he wants. Yes, it's great closure, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity, bro. I feel like they could have done something really, really cool. But there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say that he can't still come back to play Thawne. So I'm keeping hope alive.
I knew James when he said that. See, when I was watching it, I was like, James must be so fucking tight right now. James must be so fucking tight. Cause I know, lie. I agree with James' theory. I'm like, oh, that's actually dope. Because when he said this on episode 9, we didn't see that episode 4 yet. So I'm like, episode 3 yet. So I'm like, alright, cool. Once I watched it, I was like, oh, he must be so fucking sad. He's like, why you do this? Bro. Why you do? And I'm like, I didn't mind it because, like James just said, like it gave a good closure for the storyline and everything. But then I'm like, what y'all doing though? Like Timeless Wells, dope name, Timeless Wells, cool.
Yeah, it's dope.
But but then it would be nice if they're like Timeless Wells, Timeless Dawn. That would have been dope. And then when he said bye to Cisco. And then his green turned to the red, like, hey, I'm actually not Timeless Wells, I'm Timeless Dawn, and leaves. And the Cisco has to run and tell like, oh shit guys, that was not Wells, that was Dawn. And he's called Timeless Dawn now. Like that would have been dope, a little nice cliffhanger, then boom, cut the show. But I agree with James. It was very lackluster though. Oh well.
Yeah, it is what it is. I felt like it was fine, but I just felt like my idea was better. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
John, do I think Lois? So if I think Lois and Clark will introduce New Genesis and the New Gods, I don't think so because I feel like that's something they want to save for the movies, or maybe even save for like their own TV series. Because Ava DuVernay was going to make a New Gods movie, but
I w-
she's doing Naomi on the CW. So I'm not sure how involved she's going to be in the New Gods going forward. I don't know if they pushed it or if they have different plans for it. Like, Vash, what do you think?
um Also, John, if they would have brought new gods in the show, Morgan Edge would have said like, "I will praise the gods." I will like they would have had Morgan Edge use those type of lines like, I will praise the new gods," and like, oh, they're gonna use new gods, or they would have used lines of New Genesis, or use type of storytelling, like praise up at the sky and then show a little thing in the sky. Like, they would use storytelling to show us those little cameos, but they haven't shown anything of that, and I don't think they will include that, because that's not something that will be in a TV budget of a CW show. Maybe if they had HBO Max on it, then maybe for sure they would do probably new gods within the show of Superman Lois. But I think they'll keep it more grounded instead of more alien space stuff a lot. I think they'll keep the show more grounded, Smallville type of stuff. They're no small town guys. They're not going out to Metropolis. Can't say the goddamn name of the
Metropolis.
city. Thank you. I don't think they're going there all the time now, because with production going over there, that's expensive to go film in the city all the time. So small town, Smallville, much easier, more grounded, type of storyline.
Yeah, and Steve, yeah, Thawne is the GOAT. Like, he's my favorite DC villain, hands down. Like, I switch between him and Joker all the time, but it's like I always come back to Thawne being my absolute favorite villain, because he's just so fucked up in the head. Like, you find out who the Flash is, you model your entire life after him, you even recreate the accident that gave him his power so that you can be a speedster, to meet your hero, and then to find out that you're his greatest rival. You go through time killing any friends that he ever has. Like, it's absolutely crazy, but I digress. Getting back to episode 3, I don't know how I feel about Iris being the literal lightning rod to give Barry back his powers to power the artificial speed force.
That was whack.
I feel like that's kind of lame, honestly. If I'm being honest with myself, like, yes, Barry and Iris are Team Flash. They are a team. But for Iris to literally be the lightning rod, and yes, they go into a further explanation where, like, she was connected to, like, Speed Force energy in some way, and, like, multiversal energy, and she was able to channel that into the artificial Speed Force, and that what gave Barry his powers, and also is going to give a bunch of other speedsters their powers, because they're actually leaning more into the Godspeed storyline from the comics, where we get a bunch of other speedsters, and then Godspeed is going to steal all of their speed, thus killing them, and then Barry has to stop them. So that's going to be very interesting, watching the new, like, Godspeed arc coming out of the Flash.
Are we doing the Godspeed from the introduction of Rebirth? Also, I wonder, are we going to do the Godspeed of that version of the comics of Rebirth?
I hope so. I hope so.
If I haven't read the full storyline, but I know that Godspeed is related to Barry in some way, so I'm curious to know.
What? I don't.
Or am
I
I
don't
wrong?
remember that. I don't remember that. I would have to fact check that. And chat, you can fact check that for us as well. But I don't think they're related.
If he ain't, that's fine. I just don't. That's what I heard or remember from reading from Rebirth, but I could be totally wrong, or probably mixing the storyline. But I just want an actual Godspeed, and I'm tired of those goddamn androids, like, or Synthezoid or Cyborg.
Yeah, whatever. I'm so bored of it.
I'm tired of that shit. Like, because when they brought another Sue, and they said, "Oh, that's the 5th time this summer." I'm like, "What 5th time? This is the first time we see him. What you mean 5th time? Where?" So goddamn mad at that scene of Cisco saying that. And Cisco, oh no, that's episode 5. I'd rather talk about episode 4. If we're doing episode 3, because I want to talk about Cisco, because he just annoyed me.
Yeah, we can jump into episode 4 right now.
Again, guys, this is a spoiler for The Flash, episode 3 and 4. So I'm about to say something. So if you guys don't want to know, check back in the next couple of minutes. I'm so mad that they killed Abracadabra. Really am, because that human trope was beautiful. I prefer that human trope what happened in episode 4 over episode 3. That was beautiful. That was human. That is more where he lost his family, and like within. And I'm like, I'm mad that he said Barry's fault. Like, yes, Barry's fault, but technically it was the Anti-Monitor that wanted to destroy the multiverse. So it's not technically Barry's fault. Yes, it was Barry because he didn't want to die, but a version of the Flash did die. But like, yeah, you kind of are right, but same time you kind of are wrong. But I'm kind of sad that Abracadabra died. But I like what he said to Cisco, like, oh, you're not Vibe no more. You're a different version of Vibe, but using gauntlets and everything. I'm like, why did have to take his goddamn powers? He's so.
I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed about that shit.
The whole suit and gauntlet. I'm like, that's overdoing it. I was fine with the jacket and just him doing this. Like, that was freaking dope. Cisco, you were such a cool character.
Yeah, man, such a cool character. Rob, I don't think we've been Godspeeded enough simply because they've been all fakes, right? Like, I want to see the real Godspeed, the one that's actually like ridiculously faster than Barry Allen. Like, I want to see that confrontation between Godspeed. Like, he had a limited like run with Flash in Rebirth, but it was really good in my opinion. So I really want to see that come to life on the Flash TV show. I think it's gonna be dope.
15 issues. I think it was less than 15 issues or 12 issues. I think
something like that. Yeah.
Last year, yeah. But it was a small run. But the art was really good. I really need to read it fully. But if anything, we also do that during the month of May and June. Talk about the Flash villain. Like, have a Flash Center episode. Talk about the villains, Grodd and everything. Have a episode of the best Joker and everything. That would be awesome episodes to do. That would be entertaining.
Yeah, it could definitely have the potential to be really cool. But like you already brought up, like, I really loved Abracadabra in this episode. Like, we find out that he comes back to destroy Central City because he found memories of a deleted timeline from a deleted universe of when he had a family, he had a wife, he had a newborn son, and he feel like Flash took that away from him when he didn't die in Crisis. So it was very nice to see Abracadabra come back with such a human story, and I really like how he interacted with Barry. And again, Barry pulled out the talk no jutsu and he talked him down because Abracadabra isn't just a villain. He's a human person who has these nanotech abilities to give the illusion of magic. So he's just this guy trying to make his way in the world, and I love that Flash decided to talk him down. This episode also gave really good development to Iris, because unlike the other people that got pulled into the Mirrorverse, she was there for 3 months alone. And watching her talk at the end, talking about her story and watching all of the other people that related to her was really, really, like, it hit me. It was really, really emotional for me watching Iris talk about her trauma, and then Barry using that conversation that he had with Iris to talk Abracadabra out of what he was doing in destroying Central City. So I thought this was a really great episode, man. Like, what were your thoughts?
I really enjoyed Iris' story, even though, like, she should have understood it, that, hey, you're a reporter. And when she said that the report is not about me, I'm like, yes, girl, it is about you. You was there for 3 goddamn months. Why are you not writing a story about yourself? Like, that kind of took me off, but, I get it. You was there for 3 months, so you need to get back on your feet. You need to understand back you're in reality. So I cannot be mad of her not being back in the mindset. But I understood. Very happy how the show took her in that journey, and her learning from her own husband, and her husband learning from her. That was beautiful, because when you're with your partner, you start to forget about yourself, and you need to be reminded at times. So that's very human. But you also learn from your spouse, and your spouse learns from you. So that's very human-like. So that's very beautiful to see. Can we talk about the ending cliffhanger? Because Caitlin, that just threw me off. Like, that's a twist I did not expect. Did you see that happening? Because I did not.
Yeah, I saw it coming. The moment she was starting to have like those headaches, I was like, oh yeah, their brain waves are splitting and they're going to be separated somehow.
Really? You saw it? I did not see that happening.
Yeah. So when it happened, I was like, yep, thought that was gonna happen. Because it's not just that, right? Like, I always thought that at some point they would separate Caitlin and Killer Frost. I always thought that was going to happen.
But, like,
so
we're in season
So
7, so I'm like, yeah, taking some long ass time to do it. Like, I thought maybe by season 4 or 5 they would have done it, but I'm like, I didn't expect to see season 6 because I thought they threw out that story. I'm like, it's kind of too late to split them. But now, like, okay, that's dope that you saw it coming. Me, I guess I forgot the storyline would be happening because I just thought it would have been too late now. But now it's like, okay, cool. You're 2 people. That means it's gonna be harder to shoot and film because you have to have her as double twice and everything. But like, that's gonna be a lot of work too.
So that's the thing. So they split them up because we're not going to see one of these characters ever again, I think.
I think it's
I think
Caitlyn.
that's I think that's the point. And that's the thing that I don't know. I can't figure out what they're going to do now that they split them apart, besides one of them is going to go away forever. One of them is going to go off. Actually, I don't know, and don't quote me on this, but I think it might be Frost, because Killer Frost has never gotten a chance
To be
to
herself.
really live her own life and be herself, right? So it would make sense to be like, you know what? We got this, Frost. Go off, travel the world, do your own thing, learn who you are as a person, date, do whatever you want. Caitlyn isn't in
Date.
your mind, so you don't have to worry about all of that stuff and live your life. And I mean, because Caitlyn has been gone essentially for all of season 6. Like, she had a couple appearances. So I think this is like a good moment for Killer Frost to go off and do her own thing. And she could potentially be a hero in another part of the world, wherever she goes. But again, that's just me spitballing. I have nothing to base that on. It just makes sense in my mind for Frost to be the one that goes off to live her life.
It sucks because after I threw that storyline out that they're gonna split, I was enjoying the banter of them talking to each other through their mind, them switching, from Caitlyn to Frost, the hair turns ice. I enjoyed that. It was very entertaining and good comedy relief because I like that Caitlyn could play dual reality, show her, serious scientist side, but then show Frost her comedy, snarky, live my life free, woo! So like, I like that. So it's pretty fun. But then to see how Frost, from your theory, Frost would be the one going, like, as much as I like Caitlyn, I'd rather that Caitlyn go somewhere that her mom needs her, or somebody needs her, some great scientist needs her. Because I like Frost's character more, and she fits more in that hero. And yes, we need Caitlyn as well, because she's technically the only bioengineer, scientist, doctor, to actually heal, bury or heal anybody that is, that's technically wounded. And, like, technically, Cisco could be replaced because they have, forgot the actor name, or his role is the black dude. I forgot. Chester.
Chester, yeah.
Yeah, so if you remove Cisco, they have Chester. If you remove Chester, they have Cisco. But if you remove Caitlyn, they need to replace Caitlyn. But if you lose Frost, you lose an extra hero. But they could lose Frost because they have Barry, and that gives him more of a hero role, and he needs to be more serious, I guess. See, it could go either way. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed, James. If one of them has to go, yeah, I'm kind of mixed. Yeah, I don't know who.
Yeah, I'm also mixed. Again, I'm just spitballing. That's just the one that makes logical sense. Because to your point, right, like, they need Caitlyn to be the doctor on the team. Like, when someone gets hurt, like, she understands, like, the biology of the human body. So it's like, they need her. And they need Frost too, but I don't know. I highly doubt they would spend the budget constantly to have both of these characters on screen at the same time. Like, I feel like it'll happen a couple times, but I feel like that's way too much money and too much investment to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. The last question I'm going to ask you about this last episode 4. What do you think of this humongous looking creature coming here and just playing little bat with Abracadabra, then kicking Bear's ass, and after that, a whole type of nuclear bomb of dark matter, and then just dip?
Yeah, so I have no idea what character that is.
Me neither!
I have no knowledge. I have no idea what's going on. Obviously, like, I assume it's a she. They left because of some frequency that they heard, so obviously someone did that. And it's like, how do they have this ability to literally absorb kinetic energy and, like, everything else that it's doing? I don't know what's happening, but I'm very interested. It can't be the lightning storm, because I think that's supposed to create more speedsters. I don't think they would use that to create different types of metas, but I could be wrong. Like the TV show doesn't have to follow the comics, so I'm very intrigued. Like I don't know.
And plus, I'm curious to know, like, how's Barry gonna take out this villain? Because Barry is kinetic energy, and if this villain absorbs kinetic energy, like, it's almost like absorbing mana. So, like, what can Barry do? If he Barry doesn't got super strength, all he does is super speed. So, like, what can you do with your super speed if all you do is kinetic energy? So, like, what can you bring? And Abracadabra also said I think he was foreshadowing another villain. Do you remember the name? I did not write it down.
Yeah, it's Chronarch.
Yeah, who is that? I don't know who it is.
So Chronarch has had a couple different interpretations in the comics. Like the one that I'm most familiar with is Chronarch is essentially like a big like supercomputer that pretty much essentially like runs existence in the future. Like it decides like the rules and all of that stuff for like life in the universe. And then Barry has to like find a way to like erase Chronarch from existence. Well, not erase it from existence, but to defeat the Chronarch's computer in order to give people back their free will. But like I said, there's a couple different interpretations in the comics. Like it really could go a couple different ways. Rob is saying that character is from the Strength Force.
There's
So I'm not very familiar with the Strength Force, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So I'll have to educate myself after the show. So I thought the lightning was to create the other speedsters, much like it did in the Rebirth comic. So that's interesting.
So yeah, so that part I know, Rob. That the Speed Force has two of the Force, Sage Force and Strength Force, because I know Wally is more connected to the Sage Force because he's more connected to the spiritual aspect, and I know another speedster, I forgot his name. He has the white suit with the red and everything. He's more connected to the Strength Force. I know that. But it's more like, what can Barry do, since all those versions of the Speed Force is still kinetic energy. So it's more like, what can he do against this villain? But we don't write the show, so the show will show us. And would it be good storyline? We'll find out. So it's more of, and Chrono, I'm really curious now because I don't know much about this villain. I guess that escaped me in the Flash comics that I did not read. So I'm really curious to know how's that gonna go.
Yeah, Chronarch is definitely interesting, and it's going to be an interesting villain for the Flash, depending on how they decide to, whatever interpretation they decide to bring into the TV show. But again, the Flash TV show is finally back. It's true to form, and I'm excited to see what the rest of season 7 is going to bring. I want Godspeed. From what Rob is saying, like, it's going to be really interesting getting to see like the Strength Force and getting into the Sage Force and all that stuff. So that's really, really dope. I can't wait to see that shit, and I can't wait to see when Thawne comes back into the picture. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen probably in like the final like 3 episodes of season 7. And I forgot who brought it up before. Rob also brought this up, but I also hope that the Flash season 8 is the final season. Just wrap it up with Thawne, get the fuck out. What do you think, Vash?
Oh, 100%. I cannot add anything more to that because I don't want to see any more bad writing for Barry. That's all. Like, as much as I could give the pros and cons for the Flash and Grant Gustin, just go do something else. Just be like Stephen Amell. Just go do your career. Do something that you want to do. Like, you impacted this character. You have shown kids to be inspired, hope, run Barry run. A lot of people in a lot of type of interviews were actually to say that line. Tom Kavanagh, like, I just want to see him in Akma roles. I'm so happy the show has introduced me to other actors to look out for them in the future. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, it's just season 8. That's it. Just call it a day and just wrap it up. That's it.
Yeah, I really hope they wrap it up in season 8. Like, I don't want Flash to be the show that just runs and runs forever. I really hope that it has like a finite ending. And I hope they make it a really, really good one. All right, guys, it's time to shift gears to our final 2 main topics. And I want to start with Invincible. Oh my God, is this series fucking amazing. I know nothing about the Invincible comics. I am going into this
You better not read
blind.
it. You better not read it.
I'm fucking reading it right after the show.
No, don't. I want us to be spoiler free while we watch this, please. Please, I want us to just enjoy
I can't
season
make
1.
any promises, Vash.
Please, Jace.
It's too good.
I'm telling you right now. I beg you. This is the one show. Like just like me and Ray react to Attack on Titan every week. Me and him, anime free. Just please for this show, season 1. After you could read it. After episode 8 airs, you could read it. I'll read it with you, and we could do the cover for it. We could do a review for each volume. Just don't read this.
All right.
I wanna be.
I'll do
free
it for
with
you, Vash.
Thank you.
I'll do it for you.
Sorry, guys. I just really had to tell him because I want to do it on the air. So this could be on the record. So he's promising. After episode 8, me and him will both read it and maybe do covers for it. But just for now, let's just be, enjoy for what it is.
Yeah, man, like Invincible, I did not expect it to be this good. And this cast, bro, this cast is absolutely insane. You got Steven Yeun, you've got Zachary Quinto as the robot, you got Jason Mantzoukas, Gillian Jacobs, Walton Goggins, like J.K. Simmons, everyone's in this. Like, there's so many Walking Dead characters that do voices on this show. Lenny James, I think is his name. He's what was it? Dark something. I can't remember the superhero's name, but there's so many.
Darkwing.
Yeah. Like, there's so many Zazie Beetz. Like, there's so many amazing actors doing voices on this show. It's crazy. Clancy Brown is in this. It's nuts. Sandra Oh, the list goes on and on, bro.
I did not know Nolan Grayson, the father, was playing J.K. Simmons. I did not know. Wow.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is the dad.
Wow.
So let's talk about it, Vash. Like, I want to start with you, bro. Like, I want to know, what were your first impressions of, like, Invincible, man? This shit is crazy.
Just like I said in the live chat, and Sam knows me very well, and James probably have seen me said it in, because I know James also watches our anime reactions, but let the bodies hit the fucking floor in this show. These bodies got murdered. Yo, these humans kept getting killed left or right. I felt so bad for the invasion that kept going on in the first 2 episodes and everything. I'm like, damn, people getting murdered left and right. Like, people just cannot walk around the city just to have a day job and everything. People just literally losing arms, bodies. Even that grandma, that grandma got, I think that's a grandma, let's just call her
she
old
got
lady.
fucked up.
She got, like, I'm so sad. Mark was very sad that she didn't make it, because there's something that the father hella cold. He hella cold because he said, yo, that's part of the job. Let's go home and get some pizza. I was like, boy, become a better father, because how do you just let your boy just be like that? Like, say like, hey, son, it's sad, but, be part of, that's part of the job. Like, be more emotional about it. But he just walk it off like it's nothing. Like, damn.
Yeah, but I mean, he wants him to learn that, yes, like you just said, it is a part of the job, right? So you do have to get over it to some degree. But, like, you can grieve a little bit, man. Like, this was his first time out. Someone that he was trying to save died. I love how brutal and how violent this show is. And this is why I think you'll like the Harley Quinn animated series. It's just as violent, honestly. Yes, it's hyper violent. But I love the animation style. I love the voice actors. The Guardians of the Globe, very Justice League-esque.
I felt so bad for them, though. They got, like, that scene. I thought, again, guys, there's a spoilers because we're in a spoiler segment here. I thought they was gonna at least have a chance, but man, they got their asses kicked. Like, when I say kick, I didn't expect it, because I was watching it, like, I was supposed to do a watch party in Discord, guys, and everything, but I just got busy clearing my room. I was like, you know what? Let me just play this on my TV while I watch. And then I was just watching it. And then while I was watching that scene of Omni-Man just murdering these guys, these heroes, and I was just like this the whole time, like, this is a cartoon, right? This shit bloody as hell. And it was just murder after murder. He broke the head. He literally snapped the head, and he, like, I was hurt with, like, Red Rush. I like the way I saw him. He reminded me a bit of Barry and Wally, and, like, even though I'm not drawn to these characters, because they just died within the episode, but, like, that reminded me a bit of Barry, and I was like a bit hurt of him. The other characters I could care less, but, like, damn, he He died trying because he just kept going at the punch and he just kept going. His hands broke and everything. He kept going and going. James, how did you feel? Because I just still, I was like, damn, this is a cartoon still.
Yeah, so when we got the twist with Omni-Man, did not expect it at all. Again, like, I know nothing about the comics, and I was absolutely surprised because he just seems like the biggest shining light of hope on Earth, right? And then he tells Mark the story about Vilrum and how like they all have superpowers and they go out to different planets in the galaxy to help civilizations that are lesser developed. It's like, nah, nigga, like these people subjugate worlds. They're Saiyans. They're essentially Saiyans that go around and they're trying to subjugate the entire fucking universe.
I knew he was lying when he said, "Yeah, we go to each planet to protect, and we're there." I'm like, and then when now to jump the gun, but in episode 3 in the beginning or in the end of episode 2, when he came and entered the other world invasion. And he murdered them motherfuckers. Like, literally, guys, he murdered them asses.
They're extinct.
They're extinct. And when he told them, oh, that's my planet to conquer, well, I'm like, oh, Omni-Man is a bad guy. He ain't good. He bad.
He was like, this is not your planet to conquer. I was like, dude, what? So that's what they do. They go to different planets. They essentially find their way into civilizations.
Yes,
and
Rob,
then they just subjugate worlds. This is crazy, bro. So when I found that out, I thought that was absolutely nuts. I love Mark. Mark is such a cool character. I know I'm going to love watching him coming into his own as a superhero, thinking again that his father is just the biggest shining ray of hope in the sky. Yo, and he's not, bro. He's not.
I could just imagine his father's gonna fuck him up. Yo, his father's gonna whoop his ass. I could just imagine it. And it's just like, me and James spoke about it behind the scenes, but the voice actor that plays Rex, I like Jason. For those that don't know, the voice actors from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm not just say his first name because James can help me with the last name because I'm not gonna say that. But he's a good actor. For James, it's hit or miss. For me, I like him in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I haven't seen it in a lot of other roles, but for this show, I feel like it fits. But Rex is an asshole, and I get why he cheated because like who wouldn't want to have a threesome or a sixsome or an eightsome? Like I understand, totally understand.
I mean, he did it because he was just insecure. Like, he thought that he was going to lose his girl to Invincible, and instead of being a man, he decided to be a fucking child and lash out and have a threesome to get back at his girlfriend.
But again,
he's a child.
I
hate him. He's an idiot. Like, Scuba's like, the dude's a jerk in every role. He really is. Jason Mantzoukas plays a good douchebag. And I think it's ridiculous that he's playing a black guy, but whatever. But it's just like, it's fine. He's supposed to be a dick, but Robot is also really, really interesting. I'm not sure like what his motivations are. Like this series is really cool, man. Like I was really invested in Darkwing. I was like, oh cool, I can't wait to learn more about War Woman and Red Rush. I was like, these guys are awesome.
Psych! They did.
Dude, he took War Woman's head and fucking snapped it around, bro.
Yo, he just showed the fish. He literally twisted the fish and broke him in half. I was like, oh, wow.
Those deaths were brutal, man. And it's like, well, they were getting stronger and stronger. They were getting better as a group. And before they get too strong to stop him from being able to subjugate the planet, he had to fucking kill him. Which is absolutely crazy, bro. I did not see that coming.
Which is understandable. I respect what you're saying. But I like that we got introduced to a freaking devil detective. That was interesting.
Yeah, and Rob, like I know you're familiar with it, but he's coming off Damien, I think is his name. He's coming off very Etrigan, the question
fusion, yeah, the question
type thing, and I fucking love it. He's going to be one of my favorites for sure. I really like Eve as a character. I really like Zazie Beetz' character on the show. This show has a lot of really, really cool characters, and episode 1 was just the introduction, right? Like I love that Mark started to come into his powers. He started learning how to fly, how to fight. He fought his first villain. He got his name Invincible, and I love, like, instead of ever really saying Invincible, they just kind of like cut to like the screen that says Invincible.
I love
really
that.
I really like that as well.
Beautiful transitions. And Seth Rogen as Alan the Alien is adorable. It's like, hey man, I'm just here to do a job. You guys sign up for this. I'm just here for it. Earth. Like, no, we are Earth. You got the wrong planet. We're the Earth with the E. You came for the one with the U. I'm like, oh damn. Well, if that's to meet you, hopefully I don't get fired, so I'm gonna go back. I'm like, he like.
I hope he gets fired.
He definitely should get fired.
He was supposed to be at this other planet 3 Earth years ago. Like, so this other planet that wants this help to help defend their planet. They haven't gotten it for like 3 Earth years, so who knows how long they've been waiting in their time. It's ridiculous. Like, Seth Rogen was so funny.
And what again, guys, a spoiler for the first 3 episodes. So I didn't expect. Well, I kind of expected it. I just didn't expect it to be so soon. Which again, me and James found out there's only 8 episodes, so it makes sense. The robot is the bad guy as well.
Robot is also a bad guy who is now in control of the Guardians, which is crazy. And it's like, is Robot, like, I mean, I highly doubt he's working with Omni-Man. I feel like that would be a bit of a stretch. Like, but what are his motivations, right? Like, what is this guy, what is Robot into?
He said it to Monster Girl or Monster Woman. He said it to, like, nobody understands us because nobody asks who we are or what we want. Because Robot, man, like, I feel like he has grown in personality, he has grown in emotion, like he has grown to become, like, have an understanding to be human. And when the chief or when the director, like, told him, hey, come work for me and everything, I feel like he feels like he wasn't really asked. He feel like he was told. So, like, I feel like he doesn't have a freedom of will. So that's why I think he's choosing to do what he's choosing, to become a bad guy or always was, or whoever programmed him. Like, he reminds me a bit of Red Tornado, of his type of storyline and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I want to see, like, where Robot is going to go. So we talked a lot about episode 1. Let's talk about episode 2. What did you think of the Flaxans? I actually thought that alien race was really cool, and just like the mythology surrounding their universe, where like the temporal space is way different there, so time runs way different. So them being on Earth, they can go through their entire lifespan in a matter of minutes, which I thought was really, really interesting. So when they leave, they come back, it's been decades for them, and it's been days for us, and they've advanced their technology, their fighting style, everything. And again, I love how brutal this show is, because this is a testament to Man of Steel and why I like Man of Steel so much. People complain about the damage in Metropolis. This is what it's like when gods fight among men. This is what would happen if there would be an alien invasion. Superman would not be able to save everyone. There would be hella casualties. And I love that this is actually going through like what life would actually be like with superheroes, with these types of villains and these invasions. I think that's important.
Rob said it perfectly. They would not give up. They kept on trying. They kept coming back, I think, every 3 days or like a week. I'm like, damn, continue trying. And like every time they came back, they got more new suits. The guy went from one scar, came back, have a whole suit and everything, had the scar healed and everything. Like he came like I think he went from a general and everything. Like I feel like he went from a full soldier to a general and then like to a commander and everything. Like each time he came back. And I think they kind of regret going back the third time because Omni-Man whipped their ass again. Because, like, James, episode 2, I was interested. I'm like, oh, they came back in there, they're dope. And then by the end of episode 2, it's like, I guess I can't be intrigued about them no more. They dead. So I'm like, I guess they're extinct. They can't come back ever again. Omni-Man said, like, and the wife was like, oh, your dad's going to be late to dinner? All right, cool. He literally came back like within like 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's just gonna give them a stern talking to on why not to come back to this planet. No, honey.
He murdering them. Debbie. He murdering them, sweetie.
He wiped the Flaxons off the face of existence. They're all dead. Dude, watching him fly around at these incredible
Um,
speeds, blowing up everything, I was like, dude, this is insane. This is so sick, bro. When he drops that entire, like, asteroid thing, like, right on top of the planet, I'm like, dude, he marked everyone. He marked everyone. He's
He
like,
marked
this is
every
not
kid,
your planet
the
to
Hobbit
rule,
family.
and he wiped them from the planet. He doesn't care.
I feel so bad for the people in that planet because I'm like, damn, yeah, like I get it that y'all was choosing to invade another planet, but y'all didn't actually get a whole extinct. But yeah, you
Yeah,
kind of deserve
Rob,
this.
I didn't see him destroy the planet. I think he just killed everyone on the planet, and he destroyed like whatever space station they had floating above the planet. But yeah, I didn't see him actually destroy the planet. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But man, like watching Omni-Man wipe out all of the Flaxons, like that was crazy, bro. It was absolutely crazy. And I love the subliminal messages that he's giving to Mark, like, we have a greater responsibility. Meaning subjugating worlds. Like what when Invincible finds out that his dad is a world conqueror, I can't wait to see them fight against each other with Invincible fighting for what's right. Like I can't wait for that to happen.
And this is what me and James spoke about, the human trope in the Flash and in Superman Lois. But this is what the father's gonna see, that he fuck up because he married and had a kid with human. And humans have emotions, and humans choose what's right and what's justice. And his son Mark is gonna choose what he believes is right. Yes, he has the blood of vaccines, Votans,
It's Viltrumites. I think that's what it is. Viltrumites.
Viltrumites. So his father's gonna be hella mad because he's gonna say this is what we do, for generations. But then his son Mark is gonna be like, nah, dad, fuck you. I'm gonna beat your ass up because this is what I believe is right, and what we're doing, what you're doing, and what our generations and what our grandparents have been doing is totally messed up, and it's not saving the planet, it's helping the planet. We are subjugating them and we're ruling them. We cannot do that. They're a whole planet that should have a freedom of will. So I can't wait to see this fight, and I can't wait to see this father and son dynamic to go for him to say all the time, because he kept saying throughout the first 2 or 3 episodes, he kept saying, I want to be just like that, I want to be just like you. He won't be saying that anytime soon no more. He'll be like, I don't want to be nothing like you. He's gonna be saying that to his father. He'll be like, I don't want nothing to be like you no more. I don't want to be like you, dad. I can't wait to see that, because that's gonna be so tough for him to understand that.
Yeah, man. Like that conversation is going to be very interesting, of him trying to tell Mark, like, dude, this is your birthright. Like, this is what we've done. And yes, I'm with Chief. Like, we're just gonna call them Saiyans.
They are. They're Saiyans.
Yeah, man. But that twist, I didn't see it coming, and I'm very interested into seeing where this all goes. I'm not sure which episode it happened in, but I love that Mark got some pussy. Love that.
That was episode 3. That was the end of episode 3. But I
Okay, yeah, let's jump into episode 3.
My man, but you can definitely tell he's gonna be a ladies' man, because Mark is not bad looking. Like from the cartoon and from the comics I see, he's a good looking dude. He just looks very nerdy. He's not a jock, so it makes sense that not like us pay attention to him. He got we could definitely tell the person that he's gonna be married or engaged and have kids with. We could definitely know is a Star Girl, Eve. Like we know that's very obvious. That's gonna be like his future wife and everything. That's very obvious because that's where it's gonna be going. But Eve was like, go for it, man. You going at it, like.
Yeah, I'm glad that wasn't super dramatic, right? Because
yeah,
I mean, what did she expect from Mark to just wait for her to be done with her boyfriend? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I mean, my boy is getting some pussy, like
I'm like, go for it, man. Yeah, go. So like that was dope, and like it was beautiful because like it was a black chick too. So I'm like, hey, I have a dark skinned girlfriend, so I'm like, I'm with it, man. Go.
And I love that he's not afraid of an aggressive woman. Like people have misconceptions of like why like people like really, really strong women. It's not that you're not an alpha. I also want an alpha chick so that we both can be alphas together. That's what I want. And I'm so grateful to have that in my life right now. Like I have an alpha chick, I'm an alpha, and we run shit together.
She's
That's what
in,
a partnership is.
and this chick has patience because most chicks I
Oh
know
yeah.
would have left that crib.
She wanted the dick, bro.
But she left. No. But I'm saying like most women will be like, you know what? I'm gonna leave after he leaves. No, she literally waited an hour while he went to save the war and everything came back. So like that's commitment. And she like Jen just said she wanted the dick. He stayed. She stayed, and they were going at it. I'm like, yeah, go for it. So like that was dope. I'm very happy for that. But the president, well, I forgot what was the guy with his lightning power because that was dope too, and he has a scar and everything. But I forgot what was his director or chief role. He's smart what he's doing. He's keeping eyes on Omni-Man because he knows something fishy is going on, and he's keeping um contingency plan for the kaiju because he knows that he should not trust Omni-Man with what's going on because out of all 6 of them dying and one half survivor, he knows something's wrong. So he knows yeah.
I'm glad that he's really smart. I'm pretty sure his name is Stedman, like director Stedman. He's very, very smart. As much as he trusts Omni-Man, obviously things just don't add up. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, Omni-Man is ridiculously powerful. What villain could show up, kill all of the Guardians of the Globe, and beat the shit out of Omni-Man? It doesn't add up.
And
The
plus,
math
no
just
tracks
doesn't make
record.
sense.
Like, there's no track
Exactly.
of who came. So, like, wait a minute. So, Omni-Man's the only survivor, and all of them got the ass whipped. Like, there has to be some pieces missing. But then, there is no pieces missing. It's just all of them. So, he said, like, that's why I love the devil-looking type of detective. Because that's an interesting dude. Like, a Batman with Itrigan with the question. Like, I love his role and everything. And, like, I love how he came to the wife too. Like the wife is not questioning what's going on as well. So I'm curious to know that if they're gonna get divorced later, because she's gonna be asking like, "What the hell have you been doing? Were you the one that killed those 6 guardians and everything?" So really curious about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame Debbie for trusting her husband, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
she hasn't seen anything at all to possibly see the difference. Sam, I definitely see Hellboy. I kind of thought of that
I
too,
thought a lot
but
about that.
it's the way that he talks, right? Like he talks more like Etrigan in like with the way that he talks in my mind, and it's like mixed with like the detective aspect of like the question like Rorschach. I could be wrong. Like I don't know anything about Invincible. I'm learning more about him, but that's just what I picked up when I was watching it.
Same. What Sam said, Hellboy, but what James said exactly because I felt like my dude looks like Hellboy, and with them with the hat off too when he was paying respects to Debbie Nerd, showing the white hand. I'm like, yeah, but then the vibe felt like Etrigan with the voice, but then the vibe, Rorschach question type of Batman type of detective roles. I'm like, okay, this fits very well. So I'm really curious to know how are they gonna play in this future role, and can anybody be Omni-Man that's not his son? Because we know most likely his son will have to be him in the future. Again, me and James are only anime cartoon watchers. Hopefully, James doesn't read the comic anytime soon.
I
Before
promise
episode 8.
I won't read the comic without you, bro. I can do that for you.
Okay,
Only
thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But yeah, I think it's going to come down to Invincible having
Yeah.
to find his inner power to defeat Omni-Man. Like I think that's what it's going to come down to. But I'm very, very interested in all of these characters, man. Like this world is so cool. Again, all of the heroes are really cool. The names are interesting. You have Team. I'm like, really? Team? That's the best he could come up with. But they're a really, really good group of heroes. Most of them made
Ooh.
it made it into the Guardians. Monster Girl was really interesting as
I
well.
felt bad for her power because every time she uses it, she gets younger. And her story, she's like, don't you know how hard it is to date a older man and then start dating people that are going through puberty, and then people that you date are sex offenders appearing? I'm like, holy damn, girl.
I
You
love
have
that
it
they brought that up.
difficult.
Like, that's such like you have such amazing power, and yet every time you use it, you get younger and younger and
That's
younger.
a
So it's
horrible
like,
side effect.
yeah, I mean, if she becomes an infant, will she even have the mental capacity to even transform or
And
be conscious to a certain point? Like, that's fucked up.
and after more than that, like, can she not use it and then grow up again, or will she just just go back to a fetus and not exist no more. So I'm really curious to know about that. Like, are we gonna see that? Who I like the role, even though he was in episode 2 or episode 3 very shortly, is Black Samson. That was an interesting character. Can we
Yeah.
see more of that? Because what he said was real. Like, we're supposed to be a team, and he should be the leader because he had the most experience and is a person that knows how should be trained. So it's very interesting to know how everything should go. So I really like Black Samson. Hopefully we see more of him in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sam brings up a good point. Like, she did show like more of a childlike mind, like when she let herself get like sensitive against what Rex said. But I mean, like, we'll see how it goes, man. I want to see what the arc of all of these characters. Like, I'm already so deeply invested in even some of the side characters, like Duplicate. I'm interested in her. I'm also interested in the one that's like Wasp that can change her size. I can't
Um,
remember.
Jupiter, I think her name was Jupiter.
I can't remember. I'm looking at the IMDb right now. Where is it?
I don't see her name. I see Monster
I can't remember
Girl.
like her superhero name.
I don't see it. Oh, but who I'm also I like how didn't I'm not sure if this was in the comics because I'm not sure how recent the comic run was, but I like how they also introduced the gay character of Mark's best
Yeah,
friend.
Mark's
Like
best friend. Yeah,
if like it felt normal, it didn't feel forced or pressure. It felt so natural. So I really love that very much for that role for his character. So that was really dope to see.
yeah, man. Like, inclusion is really important. Like, where it bugs me is where it becomes like a shtick, right? It's
You know,
just
part of the
in
agenda.
there. Yeah, it's part of someone's agenda. It's like, well, people will riot if we don't have representation in this movie, so let's just put it in for no reason. And it's like there should be a reason. Give them purpose other than them being, a part of the LGBTQ plus community, right? But I love this show, man. Like, this show has a lot of great potential. Like, Damien showed up to talk to Debbie at the end of episode 3, and it's very clear that Omni-Man knew that he was there questioning Debbie, and he knows that Damien Darkblood is on his
Case.
tail.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see where that's gonna go, bro, because he can't. I don't know how he actually thought that people would just believe that he of all people was just beaten up. You know what I mean? He was just beaten up by anyone. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
And I want to know more about the director because his powers are interesting. Like my dude could just teleport, so I'm
Yeah.
like was he a hero back then and then he just retired because of his scar? Like was he in just battle? So he just is old now. So I'm curious to know about him too. I'm like, my dude, your power you can teleport anywhere you want. Like how does that work? So I really want to know more about these characters and the hero aspect because like this is some interesting powers that they have.
Yeah. Sam, we talked about that. Like, Omni-Man destroying
Yeah, we did.
The Flaxons like home. Oh my god, that was crazy good. Um Dude, there's so many like Walking Dead actors like on this on this show now that I look at it. Like, Lauren Cohen was War Woman. Sonequa from Walking Dead, she was Green Ghost. Then you have Lenny James, who was Darkwing. Um where were the other ones? There's like two more people. Black Samson, the actor that played Black Samson, he's also from The Walking
Oh,
Dead.
he is? Oh, I did not know, huh?
Yeah, like, it's Stephen Yeun was from The Walking Dead. Obviously, like,
Okay,
Robert
that part I
Kirkman
know.
made both of these, so it would make sense that he would want to
Oh, he
to bring
did?
these characters over. Yeah,
I did not know. Oh, wow.
yeah, he made both of these. Mark Hamill is the guy that makes the super suits. Love that.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm like, and I love how he, which is true to me, because they also made this very true in The Incredibles, that if you're gonna have a super suit, you also need to know your name, because the name is what really is a symbol of your suit. Like it goes hand to hand together. So I love that of how he brought that up to Mark. Like, what's your hero name though? Because I need to know how to make it because you want it to be iconic. So what's your hero name? So I love how it's very natural. Like those type of things comes very natural. It's not felt forced. So I love how you brought that up.
Yeah, man, like, this series has so much potential. Like, I'm gonna wait. I won't read the comics until we're done with all reviewing all 8 episodes. But man, this show has so much potential. I'm going to rewatch all 3 at some point during next week, because I'll be on vacation next week. I'm going to rewatch all of these episodes, and I can't wait to review episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the future episodes of Villains. But we're getting close where we're already at the 2-hour mark, and we still have to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So let's switch gears again and talk about our final topic of the night, going into full spoilers for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. Man, this episode was so intense in a lot of different ways. Like, there were happy moments, there were sad moments, there were moments that made me super angry, and I just love the writing of this show. Like, the writers, the showrunners are doing such an incredible job with this show, bro. So, Vash, I want to start with you. What were your general thoughts on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2?
Yes, Nova. Now to the main event, because we're here.
Yes, sir.
I love this episode. This episode was amazing. I was just waiting for Bucky and Sam to finally come together. I can't wait to ask James when we talk about Isaiah, because Ray and James were talking in the group chat talking about Isaiah. I'm like, oh, he's oh, they're excited for him. I guess he's a bigger character than he is. I thought he was just like, hey, another black dude sidekick with the white dude Captain America. That's what I thought. It's a joke in my head. I'm like, oh, Steve Rogers with Sam, just like another sidekick. But no, I guess Isaiah is another big character from the comics that I did not know about. I knew about this Captain America from the comics. I know about him. So, but I don't know nothing about Isaiah. So I'm like, okay, cool. Can't wait to find out information about him. But Sam and Bucky have the most right to be. And this new Captain America go fuck himself, because he was a dick in this episode, which is the point. We are supposed to dislike him. That's the writing that should be, because we are not supposed to like this new guy. And he acts like he knows that he's not supposed to be Steve Rogers. He knows he's not supposed to be replacing it. He knows that he's supposed to continue the legacy. But you knew that he's being uptight about it is once he picks up Bucky from the cops. When he picks Bucky out from the precinct, he knew and told them, if you're not gonna join me, stay out of my way. That's when you knew, like, this power's going over to your head. This title's going over your head, my dude. And that's when Sam and Bucky's like, yo, I want you to take that shield. Next episode, yeah, better take that fucking shield, because I'm about to go to the screen and smack this dude's head.
Yeah, man. Like, John Walker pisses me off. Like, he is what the military wants to be Captain America, right? Like, remembering the first Avenger, John Walker is essentially Gilmore Hodge. He is physically perfect to be Captain America. He passes all the aptitude tests, all of that crap, right? But Dr. Erskine, his whole thing was finding a good man. What makes Captain America is the heart, what's inside, the drive to want to save people. And these are just soldiers, and he's a fucking asshole, and I hate every moment that he's on screen. But let's start at the beginning, and we'll work our way all the way through the episode.
Let's go.
But at the beginning of the episode, we get a new rendition of the song, Captain America's theme, the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, when he comes out to the marching band doing these press interviews, talking about being the new Captain America. And I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate that they use Captain America's theme for this new guy out of nowhere. That really, really pissed me off. Watching Bucky sitting on his floor in his apartment, watching the news broadcast of this dude claiming to be Captain America with the shield. Like, it pissed me off. Like, what did you think about the beginning of the episode?
I felt like Bucky was about throw a pillow or throw something to the screen, but I'm like, wait, this man get the most minimum of minimum. I don't think he wants to break a screen, so I'm like, maybe that's why he didn't do anything to his TV and everything. But I knew this dude was mad, like his face, and like Sebastian Stan, great actor to just know how to stay. Like, staring is a hard thing, but know how to do it well and do it on screen. Like, he does a great job, because it shows that frustration, like that tension in his face, just staring. It's like, wow, you mad, dude. So, but the line he said to the TV reporter, he said, I never knew Cap, but I felt like I was always with him. And I'm like, boy,
Fuck you.
But you just said that you never met him, you never knew him. but you watch over his career of the Avengers, and then you said it's like you always knew him. I'm like, so that means every white kid that watched Captain America technically knew him because they probably had him as an inspiration. What?
Like, I'm completely okay with him being inspiration, with Captain America being inspiration for him wanting to become the type of soldier that he is. And yeah, Rob, the way he was tossing the shield around, I thought he already had a version of the super soldier serum, but we'll talk about that later on in the episode. But he doesn't have the super soldier serum yet. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to come about. Will it be from the power broker? Like, will it be something from the military? Because we know that Thunderbolt Ross has been working on a new super soldier serum for years. And so it's like, what is he going to do? So I don't know.
I'm shocked. No, not shocked. Well, I will hold that to what I was about to say in a few. But he was throwing that shield very aggressively. I want to add, like, he was throwing that shit with a lot of anger, like a lot of toss. He was like, I'm like, damn, dude, you have anger problems.
To Nova's point, like, I'm also kind of confused of the timeline in that moment because the way he's throwing the shield, it's like he's had practice, or maybe he was using like a test one for training, and then when he actually got the shield, he got to use it like actually get to use the shield in training. I don't know, Nova. That's a great question. I would have to like rewatch the episode to like
because from what we know in the timeline of the series, we know that WandaVision happened 2 weeks after Endgame, and we know that Falcon the Winter Soldier happened 3 months after. But from what we know within the series of the first and second episode, Falcon Sam gave up the shield, but we don't know how long after he gave up the shield he got it. We don't know how long that he's been training with it. So it's like,
I mean, just a couple days. Because I mean, when you look at episode 1, he gives the shield to the government, and then he goes to visit his sister. He goes to the bank. He does all of these different things.
So it made it 2 days
and then he
past,
goes
right?
home. He watches the news, and now John Walker has the shield. So at max, I would say like 2 days. Like,
and we know the government's quick with stuff. We know the government's quick in our life, and we know comics life. So maybe they're say, all right, cool, he's to give it back to us. Let's go give it to you, and you start training. I'm like, damn, training in 2 days? But like, maybe he's been like, when the news reporter asks, like, you have a perfect record, so like, he's in good shape and everything. But like, for you to train with a shield like that must take months or weeks for Steve Rogers to even know how to handle that. Like, he even got better with it over the years. But for you to just know how to be aggressively throwing it back to you and to bringing it back to your arm, like, there's no way that the government had this plan already. There's no way that they just
yeah. They were training. They had this guy prepped and ready to take over as the new Captain America. And John, I don't actually think it was like they had any like test vibranium shields, but like they had other prototypes that I'm sure they could have made to prepare John for whenever they get the shield, because I think the government was manipulating Sam at some point into giving up the shield. Like, I'm pretty sure Nova said that in the last episode, that they were kind of manipulating him into giving up the shield. So it really pisses me off to see that happened, man. Like, it just gets on my nerves. But this entire episode was a complete roller coaster of emotions.
Because I love how Bucky throughout the whole episode kept questioning, like, why did he give up the shield? Why did he give up the shield? And I love again, I do apologize for skipping, but I love how in a therapy scene, he questioned him, why did he give up the shield? Because if you give up the shield and Steve believe in you, and if Steve believe in you and you give up the shield that easily, what happened if he was wrong with me? That scene, that line was impactful, because Bucky, that line, that means that has been eating him up. He feels like he's not worth it, because he feels like that he's not gonna make it as some type of civilian. Because if Sam could just give up the shield that easily, then that means our friend Bucky here could just be a normal person and would not be the same without Steve. It shows.
Yeah, I really, really love that moment of him just telling Sam, like, he chose to give you the shield for a reason. He thought that you were the right person to be the symbol, and if you're not the right person, if Cap didn't make the right decision about you, then who says that he's right about me?
It was
And it's
sad.
like it just shows that Bucky's going through so much types of trauma. Just him trying to get himself back to the world, him trying to live up to the expectations of his best friend, and trying to pretty much just continue the legacy of Captain America. So he just feels like there's so much pressure on him to be a better person. You know what I mean? And it's forcing him to heal even faster.
But James, I do want to ask, how did you feel that the writers or Sam did not say the words to Bucky, saying that like, because he said it like, you and Steve will never understand why I had to give up the shield because he's black and everything. How did you feel that they implied it but didn't explicitly say it? How did you feel about that? Or do you think they're saving it more for a later conversation about it more in details?
Can you expound on that a little bit more? Like, what do you mean?
Because Sam said it to Bucky that you and Steve would never understand why I had to give up the shield. In a way, he meant this because he's black and the States of America would never accept a black Captain America. So they didn't really explicitly say those lines, they more implied it. But what I'm asking is like, do you think they're gonna have the conversation more in detail later down the road within episode 3, 4, 5, or 6, or do you think they would just want to imply it instead of saying it more explicitly?
Nah, I definitely think they'll get into it, and there's some other things that happen in this episode that definitely makes me believe we're definitely gonna get
Oh,
into
okay,
that subject matter.
I
But I,
see.
I think that's definitely one aspect of why he gave up the shield. And I think another part of it is that he just didn't think as a man, period, that he was the right symbol of America. He didn't feel like he was the right person to be this symbol and essentially become a Captain America replacement. I just think that he didn't feel worthy to the legacy of Steve Rogers. So I think that's more of why he gave it up. And to Nova's point, like this also gives that moment in Endgame more meaning for me because, yeah, what if Cap and Bucky already had this conversation that when Cap retires and moves on, to give the shield to Sam, that Sam is the right person to give the shield to because Bucky has so many mental issues, emotional issues that he has to deal with at the moment, that Sam is the right symbol of hope that America needs going forward. And knowing that information, it pisses me off even more that he gave up the shield. But I get it. It's so much responsibility. Instantly, with that shield, the entire world, especially the United States, sees you as one specific symbol.
And what Sam just brought it up, especially when the scene of the boys in the neighborhood calling him Black Falcon, and then
Yeah.
I love what I love when Sam told the kid like, "So are you a black kid then?" Like that was beautiful because it was very true. Like, hey, so if I'm Black Falcon because I'm black and I am Falcon, so that means that you black kid. And I love how the kids still go quiet because Sam put him in his place because it's something that he should not be called Black Falcon. He's There's no other Falcon. He's just Falcon.
Just
That's
Falcon.
it. So I love that was said. It's beautiful, and I love how Bucky knew about another person as with the serum of the super soldier, but he kept it quiet because they had him in jail for another 30 years. That's freaking why and show the government's fuck up.
Yeah, we'll get there. I love the interactions between Sam and Bucky. Like I love how this show is just paying like homage to like Winter Soldier and the other Avengers movies. Like when Bucky acts like, when he asks Falcon if he has a plan and Sam just jumps out of the plane. It's very Cap and Iron Man esque from the first Avengers movie. I
Yes,
absolutely love that. I love when Bucky brings up actually when Sam brings up the big three, aliens, androids, and wizards, and then Bucky is like, "What are you, Gandalf now?" And then he talks about like, "Yeah, I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out." I
I love
love that
that.
joke.
But it's so weird to hear when we're anime manga geeks as well, and when we hear big three, I usually hear big three as Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and then when I hear big three as like of their version of Marvel, so like I guess, but technically big three involves Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. But if you want to put that for you guys, sure, that's your new version of big three.
Yeah, and like Nova said, like I love the interaction later on, like when Sam calls him White Panther, and Bucky corrects him like, no, it's
Is
actually White Wolf, and he's all pissed off that he didn't get a Wakanda nickname. It's like, dude, I'm black. I should have gotten a nickname in Wakanda.
that is true, but I hope they start calling him White Wolf. Like, I'm happy the show is called Falcon the Winter Soldier, but I hope in the show he's called White Wolf because that'd be interesting. Because he got also that in the comics and everything. So I hope we get the White Wolf name like branded for Bucky.
I want him to keep Winter Soldier. I
You
want
do?
him to change. I want him to change
Ah,
what
I
that
see.
name means.
I see.
Much
I see.
like My Hero with like Deku, he wanted to change what the word Deku means.
I see
So
what you
that
mean.
means
Yeah.
a lot. That means a lot to me. I don't care either way. I would love White Wolf. I think it's a little too on the nose, a little bit, but it's just like either way, I'll be happy with it, honestly. And I love in this episode that we find out that all of the Flag Smashers have the Super Soldier Serum in them. So it's like,
Yeah.
where did they get it from? Did they steal it from the Power Broker? Did the Power Broker give it to them, even though even though the Flag Smashers are still technically stealing resources from him? Like, I'm very curious to see how that's gonna go. I love that the world is essentially the people in Europe, I should say, see the Flag Smashers as like different versions of Robin Hood. They're freedom fighters. They are taking
I love
from the
that.
rich. They're taking from these government organizations and giving back to these people who don't have anything after everyone came back from the blip. So I love that they're not just this one single evil person. I love that they're not just this group of evil people, but they're actually people fighting for freedom. And in a world where they weren't superheroes, they took the super soldier serum so that they can have the abilities to fight for freedom for themselves. So I love that. What did you think?
I love the meaning. I love their motto. One world, one people is beautiful because I was hoping to not have a weak villain for a show of Marvel. You know Marvel doesn't have the best villain reputation.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I was very happy that they actually have a model. These people have personalities. These people have a meaning. These people have a purpose as being bad guys. They say one world, one people. I was like, all right, cool. And that makes sense for the hand, for the world in the symbol of the palm. So it makes sense. It's beautiful, impactful, and it also has a meaning because they said that because of the GCD, that people with the blip are more important now because they need to fix the whole citizenship, so security. Like, that's real shit.
Yeah.
But then the people in the back burner are less important now. So I'm like, that's a real issue in the world. So understandable why they want to put it as one world, one people. Beautiful. But damn, they kicked the asses of Sam, Bucky, and the new Captain America and everything. They kicked their asses. I was like,
Don't
damn.
you dare call him Captain America. He is John Walker or
Well,
U.S. agent. Don't you dare give him that title.
In the meantime, okay, sorry, John Walker. But still, they got their asses handed to them, and
Oh, they got their asses whooped, bro.
yeah, and I love how the scene with Sam and Bucky, they didn't want to hop on the car. I'm like, yeah, don't hop on the car. Just continue walking. And John's like, yo, guys, it's like 40 miles from here. And then John Walker had to say some shit, Isaiah too, and they just say, it's always the last words. It's always the last words. I was like, yes. People always got the most stupidest last words and just get off the car. Just start walking. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Nova, thank you for that. F's in chat for Red Wing. Red Wing got destroyed in this episode. I was so sad.
And
But
Bucky
get a
was so
new
happy.
version of him,
he
one
said-
that's not controlled by the government.
Yo, Bucky was like, always wanted to do that. Thank you. I'm like, damn, you mean.
Nova, to your point, who do I think the power broker is? I don't know. With the MCU, it could go so many different ways. It could
Agreed.
be the actual power broker from the comics. They could find a way to make Zemo the power broker. I think that would be really cool.
I don't think so.
It would
Because
be interesting to see Thunderbolt Ross potentially be the
That's
power
mine.
broker. It could go
that's
a couple different ways. I haven't locked down an option yet. Like I'll keep watching the show to see where it goes. Chief just brought up Battlestar, bro. I'm so glad that they brought Battlestar into this. I thought
So
that
who's
was
this?
dope.
So who's this? Tell me about it. Like, without spoiling me, like, who's Battlestar Isaiah? Who's this guy? Like, because you and Ray kept saying in the group chat.
Well, we were talking about Isaiah, but Battlestar is a different character. But Battlestar works with U.S. Agent So it's just like I want you to look it up. I want you to look it up for yourself after the show.
Okay,
Like
okay.
I
Think
don't
about
I
it
don't
later.
want to yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you because I feel like the MCU is going to do something completely different and I don't want to give you ideas.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I read the comics about Spider-Man and other characters, Iron Man, and I'm not been disappointed. It's like what John Schnepp always have said is these films and movies and these type of TV shows are always their what if universe. Is what they take inspiration from the shows and the comics, so they bring it into their own type of reality. So if I read it and see it like, oh, that's dope, but they don't do it. All right, cool, that's fine, no problem, no biggie. So, but Zemo. I see Abe talking about Zemo. Hella hype for Zemo, and Say was like, "All right, we're going to see Zemo himself." So it's like it's very intriguing to know where he is and how they're gonna get to the conversation because they don't work for the government. They're like taking a free agent. They're freelancers. So I'm curious to know: are they gonna need permission? Are they gonna need to go with John Walker to have permission to go speak to him? So I'm really curious to know. And with the whole super soldier, I'm really curious to know, like, does he know about this? Is he gonna try to swindle Bucky? How's Bucky gonna handle this whole conversation? So I'm really curious to know about this.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a sec. Like Nova said, like Battlestar, just like he's just a dickhead in the comics. Like much like U.S. Agent, they're just like anti Captain America. They're anti heroes, not like an actual anti hero, but they're
Yeah.
the opposite of what a hero is. And they're just douchebags, really. They're just douchebags, and I really hate them. But I want to see what versions of these characters we're going to get in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So let's just get to where they go to Baltimore and they meet. We get the Isaiah name drop. Now, the moment that Bucky said Isaiah, I was like, holy shit. I can't believe that they're actually bringing Isaiah into this, who was Captain America after Steve Rogers went into the ice. So to give you the breakdown of Isaiah's character, like I just said, after Steve went into the ice, the government continued trying to recreate the super soldier serum, and Isaiah was one of 300 black soldiers that were experimented on, and he was the only survivor of the process, and he got the super soldier serum. Now he's not as strong, not as fast as Steve Rogers, but it's a diluted version of the super soldier serum, but it still makes him absolutely incredibly powerful. He heals fast, he can run fast, he has all of the abilities, just not as good as, like, I would say even Bucky or Cap. So he took on that role, and like he mentions, like in the 50s, he goes, I think it's like during the Korean War, he goes across enemy lines, he beats the Winter Soldier, and then when he comes back, he kind of takes on like more of the symbol of Captain America, and this is seen as treason, and he's put into prison.
Holy shit! Damn.
Yeah, he was giving a life sentence, but he only served 17 in the comics, but on the show they made it 30. And even while he was in prison, he was still being experimented on because they wanted to continue the super soldier program. So he was being poked and prodded for 30 years within the MCU. So he hasn't had any peace. So that's why he's so pissed off in the episode. His grandson Elijah is going to be Patriot, which is another member of the Young Avengers. So that's something that I wanted to bring up from earlier.
Patriot, I know about him from the comics. I know about Patriot from the Young Avengers. So Elijah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so Elijah's the one that answers the door, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was trying to make sure. Oh, Sam, so they're really planting a lot of seeds for the Young Avengers.
Yeah, bro, I absolutely lost it. And when Sam realizes, like, dude, we had essentially a black Captain America, a black super soldier, and you just left him locked up in prison. And when he asks Bucky, like, did Steve know? And it's like, no. Bucky tells him he never told him. He never told anything because Steve had been through enough and Isaiah had been through enough in his life, so they just left him alone, which I still think is wrong. Bucky should have said something. Obviously, he was under Hydra's thumb this entire time.
Yeah.
But while he had his mind free, I feel like he should have told Steve, and they could have done something for him. This dude is a war hero. Because of him, cells of Hydra were destroyed. He helped out so much after Captain America went into the ice. And then again, how do we reward our soldiers? We don't help them, and because he's black, we're just gonna throw him into this place where we're just gonna experiment on him for the rest of time and brand him as a fucking traitor. And I hate it, bro. And I'm so happy that that's something that they're bringing up in the show.
That too, and also you could see the way they live, the household, the area. He's not taking care of like that household and everything. The government really kind of forgot about him as well, because the way like it seems like he's not treated very well.
Yeah, like Nova's bringing up right now, like if you actually read like the actual like real life story of what was happening in World War II, they actually took hundreds of black soldiers to experiment on, well, not experiment, but they were testing gas masks on them, and a lot of them died.
I
This
know.
was a real thing that happened, bro.
I know about the real life stories. Oh, so they use that reference of the story in the comics. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
and like Abe is saying, like Marvel is not pulling any punches with like the racial stuff. Like I love when Sam gets out on the street and he's really pissed off at what happened with Isaiah, and then the cop just immediately is just like,
Oh,
well, angry nigger, so gotta pull out my gun. I need you to calm down, sir. It's like, I'm calm. We're just having a fucking conversation. You see me as hostile simply because I'm black.
yep. And and then his partner, the cops, are like, hey, that's the Avenger, Falcon, and that's Bucky and everything.
It doesn't matter.
And
It
then
doesn't
I'm like,
matter who he is. I hated that, man. It pissed me off
and then
so
he
much.
apologized and like, I'm sorry. And I love how Sam did not give a fuck. Sam was mad, and I respect that. The actor did a fantastic job for that, because as he should. That was that, like the neighborhood and everything. Like it sucked because everybody was watching, and it just sucked because they didn't question Bucky, because like that's Bucky, but they questioned Sam because he's black. Like damn, that is a tough scenario because you're racial profiling right there.
Yeah. It's like just because I'm having an accelerated conversation, I'm instantly dangerous. You instantly have to put your hand on your gun. Like it's bullshit, man. Like it absolutely pissed me off. Like Abe was saying, like if you're not ready to discuss the issues with race that we have in our fucking country right now, then stop watching the show. Stop watching the show. You're not ready to have this conversation. Because and I love that Kevin Feige and the team of writers, the showrunners, they're not straying away from these stories, bro. Because this shit is relevant. We just had two white domestic terrorists murder people, and they're alive. They're in prison right now, and they're perfectly fine. If they were black, they would have been gunned down in the streets without question. If they were a minority, they would have been gunned down in the streets, no question, bro. And I love that the Marvel Studios is not straying away from that shit. I love it so much.
Props
And
for
like
that.
like Nova's saying, like Anthony Mackie is doing such a good job with these emotional beats, and so is Sebastian Stan. Like the acting on this show is top notch, just like WandaVision. Like these actors are putting so much into the show, and I love it, man. Like I know I'm rambling a lot about this scene, but it just hit me so hard, like instantly. I jumped out of my chair as soon as I saw the cops. I'm like, they're gonna fuck with Sam. They're gonna fuck with Sam. All they see is another angry black dude, and it's gonna be a problem. It's like, oh, he's Falcon. This nigger's okay because it's Falcon. No, it doesn't matter who he is. He's not doing anything. They're just having a conversation.
And it sucks
God,
that
pissed me off so much, bro.
no, we just totally respect it because I saw that and I'm like, and that one of those cops were black too, because there's two cop cars and the other cop car did not pop out, but like not one black cop was there. Like if, and I wish there was a black cop there because they could have said something like, "Why are you racial profiling this person here? Why are you doing that?"
Yeah, and I love that Bucky stood up for him. It's like, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is?
Yep.
Without him, he contributed to saving the entire world. And again, like it doesn't matter who he is. Like you can't just see a minority and it's like, oh, dangerous. I'm so glad that they're focusing on stuff like this and not shying away from it, because this stuff is really important. And like you already brought up, Vash, like we have to get into the conversation of how America would even accept a black Captain America as the symbol of hope, as a new symbol for America itself. Like I love that they're bringing in these conversations. So let's get into the ending scene where Bucky gets arrested for missing therapy, and John Walker comes to bail them out, and we get that sequence between the therapist and Bucky and Sam, and that's such a powerful moment because you get to see Bucky really air out his grievances with Sam, because again, like we talked about it before, Cap trusted you with the shield. He trusted you with his entire legacy. And yes, I get that you think you were doing the right thing, but you knew that that's not what Cap wanted. If he wanted the government to have the shield, he would have given it to the government. He gave it to you, bro. What did you think?
Like I said it much earlier, like 10, 12 minutes ago, it is a tough scene. Bucky felt like if Sam could just drop the shield like it's nothing and Steve believe in him, that means that what Steve believed in Bucky himself could be dropped as easy as Sam dropped the shield. And that's something that he doesn't believe in because Bucky believes that he has done a lot of sins, which is understandable. You is not you. You're controlled. That's not who you are. But he cannot let that go because he's a lot of PTSD, a lot of drama. You've gone through war in your head multiple times. You have lived 106 years, but he's very scared to know that if Sam could drop the shield so easily and so fast, and if what Steve said to believe in Sam, then that means what Steve believed in Bucky could be easily faded away as well. So that's a very tough thing because you just want your friends and family to support you, and if they don't support you, yeah, like you could believe in yourself. That's the most important thing. Always believe in yourself. Us as humans, believe in yourself. But when, for example, when James or Ray or Sam believe in me and what I'm doing with my production, it is great to hear that advice from them. And if they be negative about me, yeah, I must still be supportive on myself. But when my friends are negative towards what I do and what I do for my career, that's gonna bring me down because those are my friends. I cherish what they say. I believe in what they say because if they believe in me, I believe in myself more. So if Bucky feels like that what Steve said is not true, and Bucky already has some low self-esteem, he doesn't believe in himself already. So if he believes that what Steve said is going downhill, he feels like he goes downhill, and that's a tough thing to feel like because it feels like you're in like Get Out in the film where he feels like he's thinking in that mind.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know why I'm so surprised that this show is doing is bringing like a lot of real world issues to light, because much like WandaVision dealing with grief and depression and selfishness and how we handle things that are tough in our lives, I don't know why I'm so surprised that the Falcon and Winter Soldier is doing the same thing. Like, these are two people that looked up to Captain America and saw him as a symbol to look up to, and they're both trying to find their ways to live up to Steve's expectations, which in their minds are really, really high, man. And I love to see Sam and Bucky doing this. This is something that will bring them closer together. And I really, really like that. As episodes go on, as they work closer together, they'll be able to help each other with their traumas. They'll be able to help each other with realizing, hey, together, if we work together, we can strive to be the symbols that Steve wants us to be. We can honor his name by working together. And I love it.
And I hope we see that. I hope we see the whole therapist back because I want the chemistry of the therapist. Because my favorite scene is when she said, "All right, guys, stare at your guys' souls, stare at your guys' eyes," and then she said, "Come closer, come closer," and then they were like, "We can't come any closer," so they're like, "You know what? All right," so they squeeze our legs in right there like a sandwich. I was like, he's like, "All right," and then they start to have a whole staring contest. And then she acts like, "Are you guys dead ass having a staring contest? I just actually guys just look at each other." And she's like, "Guys, come on, guys. I'm here to have a conversation." That was just so cute and adorable, and it's real life problems. Real humans go through that, and people that go through war go through that as well. So I hope we get that. Like, hopefully we see that conversation of them two with her in episode 6 at the end, at the last 10 minutes. They'll go see her. It's just like, yo, we're still having fucking problems, but I just love this guy. I try to smack this dude, but I still love him. Like, I just hope we get that.
Yeah. So there's a scene in the trailer, right, where Sam is training with the Shield. I
Yeah.
actually think that's like the final scene of the very last
I
episode of
hope
the first
not.
season.
That's gonna be so far
I think
away.
that's the very I think that's the very last scene. Especially like when they daps each other, like I think that's the very last scene. I think that's where it goes black, and that's the final moment of the series.
Let's see, episode 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode 6 is supposed to end on 23rd of April. Damn, that's so
Yeah.
far. That's
Yeah,
so
and Nova,
far.
their chemistry is just so good. Like you can tell, like they've worked together for a while. You can tell that they've actually spent time like fleshing out these characters. And of course, like if you've ever watched like any of like the Avengers press tours or anything, they're always riffing off of each other.
They are.
They have the really really great friendship. It's real. So I love that they were able to bring that into the show, and it's really really cool. Like listening to them talk about like finding out about the show, like they had no idea what they were like what the next project was going to be, and then they kind of just ran into each other at the exact same hotel, and I was like, wait, I think we're here for the same thing. And it was really really cool to listen to them talk about it, man. And again, their chemistry is amazing on screen. It's very like modern Lethal Weapon when I think about it.
Huh.
Like Bucky reminds me a lot of Mel Gibson's character that's just very broken and has a lot of baggage, but he needs Sam to help him work through those issues. He just doesn't even know it yet. You know what I mean? So I
And
really, really love this show. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that I can't wait to see our boy Don Cheeto back as well because, like James mentioned as well, when Don Cheeto's with them in press and tour, when it's Sam and with Sebastian, their chemistry is so interesting behind the scene, like on the press and everything. They riff off each other, the comedy and everything. And with Don Cheeto on screen when we saw in episode 1, can't wait to hopefully they come back because Don Cheeto would tell Sam the same thing, like, why give up the shield? Like, this whole other white guy has it. You could have been the new symbol and everything. Like, I hope we get that type of line from Don Cheeto as Rhodey. Like, that would be beautiful and very impactful. So I hope we get that. Can't wait to see that.
You know, Nova, I can see that too now that you mention it. Like very like Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, MIB vibes. Like that's also like they're
Yes,
doing a really good job with just like the buddy cop thing in general. Like it just
I
works
see
so well
that.
with these two. Like yeah, like the jokes don't seem forced. Like it actually feels real. Like I don't feel like I'm watching Sam and Bucky. I
I
feel like I'm
see
just
that.
watching Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. Like it's so good, man. Like I want to see how Zemo is going to play into the rest of this series because he's going to be a villain, but he's obviously not the main villain of this series. So it's like, do they let him out somehow to like have him
Well,
help them with a mission, and then
he
they
has to.
just can't get him back into prison? Like,
He has to because we know in the trailer he's out with the purple mask and everything, so we know he escapes or maybe he is he's on parole. Like, hey, we need to come with us because you'll be a good
I
addition to
highly
help.
doubt he would be on parole. He tried to murder the Avengers. I highly doubt that's a thing.
Well, I think it's because like we need, well, the blip and everything. Like, hey, we need you to come with us because you're gonna help us to catch these flag smashers. You know about the super soldier. You work for Hydra, so like maybe in that type of scenario, like you're on parole in that type of scenario, like we need you to step out with us, but you're gonna come back to prison. And then once they do this, hey, bye guys, I'm deuces. I'm leaving. I'm not gonna go back to prison. So it could go in that route too.
So Nova, I think he's in Germany. I think so. I think it would make sense for him to be in Sokovia. But where did he got arrested in Germany? So it would make sense to me that the German government would take him and arrest him since he committed crimes in Germany. I could be wrong. I don't know how that kind of stuff works with like extradition and stuff like that. But I think he's in Germany. That would be my guess. But I can't wait to see like how he's gonna get out of prison. Like, does Sam and Bucky get him out to temporarily do something, and then he escapes from their custody, and then the government blames Sam and Bucky for letting a terrorist out of prison? I don't know. We'll see.
And yes, Sam, Demo in the comics, they have the whole super soldier serum in the comics. That's why he had a obsession with Captain America. That's why he always was against Captain America in the comics. but in the movie or in the MCU verse, he doesn't have it currently. He could get it at the end of the show, during the show. We don't know, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a way to come out to. And I can't wait to see Bucky and Sam's interaction with Zemo next episode, because I can't wait to see. Most likely Bucky's gonna stare at him for a while. Then Sam is gonna try to break the ice, and then say, "Hey, we came here. You need to talk." So I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see kind of the whole chemistry evolve.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that evolve as well. Like, I can't wait to see how they interact with Zemo, how that's gonna go. I personally don't know if I want him to get
Ooh.
the super soldier serum, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I kind of like that Zemo. I kind of like his motivations the way that it is in the MCU. I don't
And
want
plus, there's more
him
brain.
because in the comics, yeah, in the comics, like his origins are tied like so much to Captain America, and in the MCU, his motivations don't have anything to do with Captain America. So I don't know. It would be interesting if he gets it from like the Power Broker or like his interaction with the Flag Smashers. I don't know. It would be cool, but I don't if I necessarily care.
Also, Sam brought up about the text message. I'm not sure about what to the
Yeah, that's
girl.
right. That's right.
So the girl, there's a flag smasher. I forgot what was her name for the role, but she got a text
Carly, I
message.
think.
Maybe it could be Carly. She got a text message saying that you stole my stuff. I'm gonna go kill you. So I'm like, yeah, that's not such bad guy type of line. So I'm like, who's gonna come kill her? So I'm like, that's gonna be very interesting, very intriguing to know how's that gonna go. So it's very intriguing how, like how. So we have
Yeah, it's
flag
Carly.
smashers, we have Zemo, and then we have whoever's targeting Carly. So we have currently three
Yeah, it's.
possible
I
villains.
think. I think the text message came from the Power Broker. Whoever the
Power
Power
Broker
Broker
too.
is, I think the text message came from them. I don't know. Could be wrong, but we'll find out. Um, this episode was amazing, man. Like I said at the very beginning, I feel like this episode was an emotional roller coaster. I had so much fun watching this episode. This episode made me sad in some moments. This episode made me super angry, as you guys can tell from my mini rant. Like
It's
it made me
normal.
really upset in certain moments. So it just shows like how great this show is written. And yeah, like Sam is saying, like I can't wait to see like what other knowledge from Hydra that Zemo has that they need. So I'm very, very curious to see where the rest of this series is going to go. And I wish it was 9 episodes instead of 6, but it is what it is. The episodes are longer, so they kind of are compensating for only having 6 episodes, so it is what it is. But Vash, let me get your final thoughts on the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 2 before we head out for the night.
James, you said it perfectly. Like, it's understandable of the way Sam felt, the way that his racial profile, Spanish and blacks over the years, over the centuries, have gotten racial profile, and Asians too recently within the current news in our reality. Like any cultures right now, can get racial profile in any way, but to see it on screen and done well, beautifully impacted, done well. And I love how the MCU Marvel doesn't shade away from that. It's very beautiful of how the chemistry between Bucky and Sam, of Sebastian, and how they're done, and I can't wait to see it evolve within the next 4 episodes. Can't wait to see that Zemo, the whole connection with the storyline, and how the Flag Smashers and everything. So I'm very excited for this show. Can't wait to see the new suits and the whole armor and everything. Are we gonna see any characters from Wakanda? Like, I'm curious to know how is this story gonna evolve, continue going on for the next 4 episodes. I've been enjoying it very much. I was very underwhelmed with the hypeness, but the way it's written, the way it's directed, and the way the story is being told, it makes me excited for each episode to air week to week. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in episode 3.
Yeah, man, I'll just echo that. Like, this show is incredible. These first 2 episodes have impacted me so much. Like, just like 80 minutes of one TV show has already done so much for me. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Like, this is the type of thing where I don't necessarily want to theory craft because I just want to watch it play out. As a comic book fan, man, like, this is such a good series. in just these 2 episodes is already like so on par with WandaVision, which is one of the things in the MCU that I think is like one of the best written things that they have. And this is going right up there with WandaVision. And it's only been 2 episodes, and I absolutely love it. But this was so much fun, guys. I cannot wait for next week's episode so that we can talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3, to talk about Invincible episode 4, Flash, Superman, and Lois. We have so much great content coming for you guys. Actually,
Thank you. I said that you tell
next
them.
week, April 2nd, is my birthday. So we're actually going to be spending most of the show just talking about full spoilers for the Snyder Cut and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm not sure how much Invincible reviews we might do. Like, I think we might do like a double the following week. Vash and I can talk about that off air. But yeah, next week is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be my birthday stream. I would love for all of you guys to come through because we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be drinking on stream and talking with the Popaholics crew and doing a deep dive of the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone that was in chat today. So Chief, Abe, Nova, Sam, Steve, Rob, John, thank all of you guys for being here on the show tonight. I know we're going on 3 hours right now. We had a great show. Vash, I love doing this show with you, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Same here as always, guys. Thank you guys for the support. John, for everyone here, Nova, Chief, Abe, and everyone that shows up here on the chat, and for anybody that don't comment as well while we're live, thank you for you as well, because for you to be watching and don't comment as well, you're important too and you matter. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you as well. If you haven't yet subscribed, go subscribe to YouTube channel, pod channel as well. Support us, like, subscribe, leave a comment on the podcast side or on the YouTube side. Give us your thoughts about each show, and don't forget, if you're watching this off the stream as well, all the descriptions down below for each of the segment of the review show. And can't wait to talk about the full segment of spoilers for the Zack Snyder version of his vision of Justice League, because it's going to be an interesting conversation. And I can't wait to find out what Chris or Christian says, because they was confusing me in that group chat, and I can't wait to see which thumbnail Jim's going to be using, because guys, if he uses the thumbnail that we actually spoke in the group chat, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. That's all I'm going to say. And follow me at Legendary Vash everywhere else. And can't wait for you guys to tune in on Sunday for the My Hero chapter that we're going to be discussing every week to week on Sunday for My Hero.
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me at JB Exclusive, and of course at C4SVillains on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join the C4S Discord. I'm gonna try to be using that a lot more. I really want to get to know you guys a lot better, and Discord will give us our own little pocket where we can do that, where we can talk about movie news, anime, comics, whatever you guys want to talk about. So the Discord link is going to be in the description below. Like Vash said, subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends if you guys really like the show, like the video. It will help us rise in the rankings. And we're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the Loki series. That's my goal. I would love to have 500 subscribers by the time Loki ends. So
we're going to be past that. I bet you by the end of Loki series, we're going to be almost at a K. I bet you 1K. I bet you.
Man, that would be a dream come true. But I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy for the people that show up here for every single show. So I really, really appreciate you guys being here. And we will see you guys on the next one.